Chapter 504. How come you're back so soon? Jing Wuming, on seeing Ning Qing return not long after he went out, knew that something was wrong with this matter. Since you already raised the money, why didn't you come back? Let's go out of the city now. Ning Qing made a gesture towards Jing Wuming and spoke. Jing Wuming quickly grabbed Ning Qing and spoke, since we raised the money, let's hurry to the slave market. What are we going out of the city for? Didn't you say that the slave market is at night? It's not even dark yet. Ning Qing replied. Then why are we going out of the city? We'll know once we get out. 3 hours later, Ning Qing and Jing Wuming hurriedly returned to the revolving jade city. Jing Wuming finally understood why Ning Qing had come out of the city. Ning Qing's attainments in array formations turned out to be quite high. He consecutively set up 7 to 8 array formations that were close to level 9. These array formations included trapping arrays and killing arrays. If Ning Qing were in the plundering life realm, it would have taken him at least half a month to arrange these array formations. Now that his cultivation had reached the celestial novice realm, the time needed to arrange these array formations had greatly reduced. Unfortunately, his array formation skills did not improve much compared to his cultivation. In fact, Ning Qing did not intend to rely on these array formations to kill the Celestial Lord. For him, the hidden Grade 4 Celestial River Entrapment Killing Array Disc was his biggest trump card. Using various low-level array formations, he concealed the Celestial River Array Disc, and when the time came, he would slowly lure the Celestial Lord into the Celestial River Array Disc. Because of this, he needed to set up the formation first. A Grade 4 Celestial River Array Disc had a high price. Ning Qing did not dare to tell Yuan Mingshu about the Celestial River Array Disc that he had left in the wild. The Orchid Burrow Celestial River was not a big celestial river within the striking order Starry Skies, rather, it was a relatively small celestial river. The strength of the Orchid Burrow Celestial River King did not amount to much within the entire striking order Starry Skies. Because of this, he attached so much importance to the Celestial Scryer Genius tryouts. The reason for this was to select a few true geniuses and then receive the rewards from the striking order Starry Skies. For a Celestial River King, if he could obtain a reward from the striking order Starry Skies Emperor, it would not just be a leap in his cultivation. Although the Orchid Burrow Celestial River was not much, the revolving Jade City's slave market had always been very prosperous, with all kinds of slaves being sold here. At this time, during the Orchid Burrow Celestial River Celestial Scryer Genius Tournament, more people wanted to buy slaves. As soon as Ning Qing and Jing Wuming returned from outside the city, they immediately rushed to the slave market. Even so, they were almost late. By the time they arrived, the place was already crowded with all kinds of cultivators. Everyone was talking about the quality of slaves, or what kind of slaves they wanted to choose. Ladies and gentlemen. A voice filled with powerful celestial essence force resounded throughout the slave auction hall. When all the cultivators in the hall heard this voice, they immediately quieted down. At the same time, the entire hall was brightly lit, and every corner was clearly illuminated. In the center of the hall was a high platform made out of white jade, with a middle-aged cultivator standing on top of the high platform. 4 to 5 celestial wheels behind this person showed how powerful he was. Welcome friends to the revolving Jade City to participate in our slave auction. The slaves of the revolving Jade City are very famous even within the entire striking order Starry Skies. Alright, I believe everyone knows the rules of our market. If you can't afford it and bid randomly, then you'll be the next slave to be auctioned off. I believe that everyone can't wait any longer. Without further ado, the slave auction will now begin. After the middle-aged man finished speaking, he immediately retreated, and a woman in revealing robes replaced him on the white jade platform. Seniors, the first slave we will be auctioning tonight is a Celestial Shatterer Cultivator. The base price is 100 million blue coins. Seniors, please bid. Although this woman called out as senior, her charming voice seemed to seep into one's bone marrow. After the woman finished speaking, a cultivator with long hair and a dispirited spirit was brought to the white jade platform. Ning Qing felt slightly relieved in his heart. A celestial shatterer slave was priced at 100 million blue coins. From the looks of it, Lanya's price should not be too high. However, he was afraid that the celestial lord would increase the price to the sky. Ning Qing despised this place in his heart. Auctioning slaves, yet still feeling proud of it. It truly was a group of shameless fellows. If he had the ability, he would have immediately razed this place to the ground and abolished slavery. Unfortunately, he was just a celestial novice cultivator. Within the entire starry skies, he was the lowest existence. Although Ning Qing despised the slave auction, others did not see it the same way. For an ordinary celestial shatterer slave, many people increased the price, and the price quickly reached more than 200 million blue coins. In Ning Cheng's opinion, the level of this auction was just too low. Even cultivators had to rely on themselves to raise the price. If you wanted others to know your price, you would have to shout it out loud. Xiaocheng, how many celestial coins did you raise? I still have a few 100 million blue coins on me. I'm afraid that the celestial lord would simply increase the price. Jing Wuming whispered in Ning Cheng's ear. Ning Cheng patted Jing Wuming's shoulder and spoke, "Don't worry, I believe that the celestial coins should be enough." Whether it was enough or not, Ning Cheng knew that Jing Wuming's few 100 million blue coins would not play a role. Finally, someone bought the celestial shatterer cultivator for 400 million blue coins. Another cultivator with a face full of despair was brought over. The scantily clad woman once again raised a sign with a smile and spoke, "A powerhouse bought the celestial shatterer slave for 400 million blue coins. Congratulations to this senior. Now we want to sell a slave with a celestial novice cultivation. This slave is a grade 2 celestial array master. The base price is 500 million blue coins." This time, the bidding was much fiercer than the last time. The price of the grade 2 celestial array master rose sharply and soon soared to 1 billion blue coins before someone finally bought it for 2 billion blue coins. Ning Cheng only then realized that a slave with a craft was worth more than a point or two compared to a slave without any craftsmanship. Our third auction is for a woman. Let me tell you, she is definitely a beautiful woman. Moreover, she just arrived here today. I believe that as long as it is a normal man, they would not have no interest in this woman. I'm sure that if this woman stripped naked, she would look 10,000 times better than me. The scantily clad woman's voice was extremely enchanting, as if she did not know what shame was. Some of the cultivators who liked to make a fuss immediately called out. The scantily clad woman raised her hand slightly, and the voices in the hall immediately quieted down. The next moment, a long-haired woman in a light blue robe was brought over. This woman's eyes looked a little wooden, but it could not hide her peerless charm. Her messy long hair was casually parted from her shoulders and fell on her chest and back, making her fair skin look even more eye-catching. With a slender body and a perfect figure, as the scantily clad woman had said, as long as it was a normal man, they would definitely feel moved. Ning Cheng did not take any action, he just felt that this woman was very beautiful. Ning Cheng did not like her slightly thin lips, which reminded him of another woman, Zheng Jiyun. Similarly beautiful, with the same slightly thin lips. However, compared to Zheng Jiyun, this woman's lips undoubtedly looked better. That's right, she has a celestial gatherer cultivation. I believe that cultivation is now secondary. Everyone can see everything else, so I don't need to say anything more. This woman's base price is 5 billion blue coins, and each increment must not be less than 100 million blue coins. The scantily clad woman's voice had not yet fallen, when the surrounding voices of the bidding had already started to clamor. Ning Cheng heard the price quickly reach 10 billion blue coins. Wuming, what's the matter with you? Ning Cheng had no interest in this woman and was about to speak to Jing Wuming when he found that Jing Wuming's face was pale and his body was trembling. His eyes were staring at the woman in the light blue robe on the stage without even blinking. She is Shi Yulan. Jing Wuming's voice sounded as if it came from the ground, without any vitality. She is Shi Yulan. No wonder. Ning Cheng finished speaking and then remembered something. Wuming, didn't you say that a celestial river king took Shi Yulan away? How did she end up in this place? When Ning Cheng said no wonder, he meant that it was no wonder that Jing Wuming could not bear to part with this woman and loved her so much. Jing Wuming could not be blamed for this. This woman was just too attractive, and no man would be willing to let go of her. What's more, she and Jing Wuming were once in love. A faint smell of blood entered Ning Cheng's nose, causing Ning Cheng to notice that Jing Wuming had pinched his palms until they bled. From this, one could see how much suffering Jing Wuming felt in his heart at this moment. Wuming, this woman took the initiative to leave with someone else, which is tantamount to betraying you. This kind of woman is not worthy of your love. You don't have to care about it. Ning Cheng put his hand on Jing Wuming's shoulder and comforted him once again. No. Jing Wuming cried out in a hoarse voice. Even the corners of his mouth overflowed with blood. Whether she betrayed me or not, it doesn't matter. What matters is that I saw her turn into a slave in front of me, yet I couldn't save her. I hate it. 20 billion blue coins. The speed at which the price rose made Jing Wuming desperate. Even if he sold himself, he would not have 20 billion blue coins. Ning Cheng used his hand to hold down the still trembling Jing Wuming and spoke, Wuming, if you want to save her, then bid. I have celestial coins. At this moment, Ning Cheng suddenly understood Jing Wuming. If the person he once loved appeared on this stage, would he be able to remain indifferent? Ning Cheng asked himself. He found that he was the same as Jing Wuming, unable to remain indifferent. He and Jing Wuming were the same kind of people, so the two of them became friends. Brother. Jing Wuming stood up in excitement. Hey, sit down. If you stand up, what would others think? A man sitting behind Jing Wuming shouted. Apparently, Jing Wuming had stood up to block his view of the beautiful woman. When Jing Wuming heard these words, he seemed to have recovered. He grabbed his hair and spoke, Xiaocheng, forget it. That money is for saving Lanya. I can't delay saving Lanya for her. Just bid. If you don't bid, then someone else will buy it. Even if you want to buy it, you won't have the chance. Lanya, you don't have to worry about it. I have a way. Oh. Since he borrowed 2 billion green coins from Wan Mingshu, Ning Cheng currently had 5 billion green coins on him. He believed that spending a few 100 million green coins would not have much of an impact. 24 billion blue coins going twice. Is there a higher price? The exposed female cultivator on the stage called out in an extremely bewitching voice. Chapter 505. 24, 1 billion blue coins. Ning Cheng's words immediately made Jing Wuming's blood rush to his head, causing him to call out a price that he did not even dare to think about. Although he called out, his voice still trembled, and his hands still trembled. Ha! Bursts of laughter erupted. Everyone could tell that Jing Wuming was a fellow without money. Just adding 100 million blue coins, yet he already showed such an expression. Without money, why would he compete with others for beauties? Truly looking for trouble. Shi Yulan, who had a wooden face on the white jade platform, on hearing Jing Wuming's voice, suddenly raised her head and looked at Jing Wuming's side in disbelief. However, she quickly lowered her head again. 25 billion blue coins, if you don't have the money, then just stay on the side and cool off. Don't increase it bit by bit, it's giving people goosebumps. After the cultivator who originally bid 24 billion blue coins increased the price, he looked at Ning Cheng's side with some disdain. Jing Wuming, feeling ridiculed by others, did not dare to increase the price and looked at Ning Cheng's side. Ning Cheng patted Jing Wuming's shoulder and spoke, "Don't worry, I'll do it." Participating in an auction was the fear of losing one's momentum. If one lost their momentum, they would end up spending money in vain. 300 million green coins. Ning Cheng did not hesitate to increase the price by 5 billion blue coins. The hall immediately turned silent. This was the first time someone increased the price by 5 billion blue coins at once. Moreover, just for a female cultivator, was it worth it? Even if this female cultivator was beautiful, it was just a matter of going back and playing around. How many things could he do with 300 million green coins? When the cultivator, who already felt confident in obtaining Shi Yulan, heard someone bid 300 million green coins, he immediately felt shocked. He quickly gave a cold snort and spoke, 5 billion blue coins. Ning Cheng spoke up with disdain, "If you don't have the money, then just stay on the side and cool off. Don't make a fool of yourself here." This father has goosebumps all over his body. 400 million green coins. You. The cultivator who bid did not expect that the words he had just spoken would be returned back to him. When these words were sent back, he was so angry that he almost vomited a mouthful of depressed blood. "What you?" This father bid 400 million green coins, hurry up and bid 405 million blue coins. You only have this much to show for it. Ning Cheng did not hesitate to retort and continued to ridicule, 400 million green coins, are there any higher bids? This friend here is angered by his beauty and directly bid 400 million green coins. 400 million green coins going once, is there any higher price? The scantily clad woman kept on agitating on the stage. To her, the only thing she was afraid of was that no one would bid for it. If someone did bid for it, then it would be a good thing for her. 41 billion blue coins. The cultivator gritted his teeth and added another billion, no longer just 500 million. At this time, no third person increased the price. A celestial gatherer cultivation female cultivator's price had already reached this point. It was no longer the price of the female cultivator herself, but rather a battle between two cultivators. 500 million green coins. Ning Cheng's tone was as calm as breathing, while he easily increased the price by another 10 billion blue coins. The cultivator who put out 41 billion blue coins suddenly stood up and stared at Ning Cheng's side. "Don't look at me, tramp. To tell you the truth, finding you as an opponent really makes me depressed. Every time I increase the price by a few hundred million, would just scold you for a few hundred million. It is not easy for you to earn that much money. I suggest that you don't try to squeeze it out." Ning Cheng did not feel any fear towards this cultivator and still spoke out to attack him. After the cultivator heard Ning Cheng's words, blue veins popped up on his forehead. This fellow actually dared to make him lose face. Just when he was about to continue to increase the price, he suddenly thought of something, and the anger on his face disappeared. He laughed and spoke, "Tramp. Let's see who the tramp is. Trying to goad me into action. This father will not increase the price today. Let's see how you end up. Do you want this grandpa to become a spendthrift and spend more celestial coins? Stop dreaming." Ning Cheng looked like a celestial novice cultivator at most. As such, he believed that Ning Cheng could not come up with so many celestial coins. Ning Cheng felt slightly relieved. It really was not easy for this fool to understand this point. At the same time, he also felt worried in his heart. In case this bastard kept fighting with him, what would he use to redeem Lanya? 500 million green coins going thrice, no one increased the price. Congratulations to this friend for using 500 million green coins to buy a beauty. The scantily clad woman presiding over the auction immediately dropped the hammer and congratulated Ning Cheng. The next moment, a female cultivator arrived in front of Ning Cheng with Shi Yulan. This female cultivator held Shi Yulan's detention card in her hand, apparently, she wanted Ning Cheng to pay. Everyone stared at Ning Cheng's side, and many people speculated that Ning Cheng could not afford to pay. 500 million green coins was not something that a celestial novice cultivator could casually come up with. Jing Wuming still trembled a little. He did not even look at Shi Yulan beside him and instead looked at Ning Cheng. He feared that Ning Cheng would not have the money to pay and would end up as a slave. If that really happened, he would rather become a slave himself. This friend, please pay 500 million celestial coins, and this beautiful maid will be yours. The female cultivator spoke in a crisp voice, sounding very understanding. Ning Cheng also knew that this was just the way it sounded. Once he could not afford to pay, he would not be able to enjoy this kind of understanding tone in the next moment. Ning Cheng took out a card with 1 billion green coins and handed it to the female cultivator before speaking, "Take a look. If there is no problem, give me the change." Seeing Ning Cheng take out 1 billion green coins, the female cultivator's face immediately showed a hint of respect. This was the respect for the rich. Within the starry skies, only the strong would receive respect. The rich would always be the strong. If one was not strong, one would not be able to gain a foothold within the starry skies, let alone talk about being rich. Seeing Ning Cheng take out 1 billion green coins, and even give back 500 million green coins, she finally felt relieved. Jing Wuming finally felt relieved, however, he still did not speak to Shi Yulan. Ning Cheng, on seeing this, put the detention card in his hand into Shi Yulan's hand and sat down on the side. He did not speak. For a woman like Shi Yulan, he really could not bring up any interest in talking. Moving to the side meant that he wanted to give this seat to Shi Yulan, allowing Shi Yulan and Jing Wuming to sit together. The reason why he gave the detention card to Shi Yulan and not to Jing Wuming was because he knew that if he gave the detention card to Jing Wuming, it would put Jing Wuming in a difficult position. Shi Yulan put away the detention card and gave a respectful salute to Ning Cheng before sitting down in the middle. She did not speak a single word from beginning to end. Jing Wuming remained silent, Shi Yulan remained silent, and even Ning Cheng remained silent. As the auction for the slaves continued, the three people remained silent. Shi Yulan did not even ask why they wanted to stay in this place. Next, we will be auctioning a celestial gatherer female cultivator. The base price is 2 billion blue coins, and each bid must not be less than 100 million blue coins. After the woman in revealing robes spoke those words, Ning Cheng's spirit immediately shot up and he stared at the female cultivator on the white jade platform. Moreover, Lanya looked even better than Shi Yulan. Although her face looked numb, her eyes did not show any signs of despair. Moreover, no one could tell what she was thinking about right now. 10 billion blue coins. Ning Cheng did not wait for others to call out a price and directly raised the price. He had already prepared himself for a tough battle. A celestial lord would never be a person without money. Lanya's eyes immediately lit up when she heard this voice and immediately looked towards Ning Cheng's side. When she saw Ning Cheng, her eyes immediately flashed with a bright light, and the bright light in her eyes once again returned to her body. Hearing Ning Cheng's bid, the surrounding cultivators immediately turned silent. There was only one thought in their minds, that fellow had come again. Every time he increased the price by 10 billion blue coins, how could others increase the price? The happiest one among them was the woman in revealing robes presiding over the auction. She looked as if she wanted to see the world plunged into chaos and shouted, "This friend once again bids 10 billion blue coins. This friend has a very good eye. He had just bought the best maid in the auction for 500 million green coins. I believe that he has chosen this time before making his move." A big-headed man sitting in the front row of the auction house felt shocked when he heard Ning Cheng's bid. The celestial lord had asked him to come here today to buy Lanya and even gave him 20 billion blue coins. In fact, 20 billion blue coins, not to mention buying a single Lanya, even buying 4 or 5 Lanyas would be more than enough. However, He and the Celestial Lord did not expect that someone would actually bid such a high price to buy Lanya. Moreover, this cultivator had just bought a female cultivator for 50 billion blue coins. How could he compete? 15 billion blue coins. The big-headed man anxiously thought about how to deal with this situation while adding another 5 billion blue coins. 20 billion blue coins. Ning Cheng adhered to his usual good tradition and directly quoted a full 100. When this big-headed man quoted the price, he immediately understood that this person must have been sent by the Celestial Lord. Since this fellow only had a Celestial Gatherer cultivation, the Celestial Lord should at least be a Celestial Bridge cultivator. As Ning Cheng increased the price, his spiritual consciousness kept a close eye on this big-headed man. Today's matter was very beneficial to him. Moreover, the Celestial Lord did not come in person, which was the best news for him. 21 billion blue coins. The big-headed man eagerly took out a communications pearl while increasing the price. 50 billion blue coins. Ning Cheng, on seeing this big-headed man take out a communications pearl, immediately knew that he had to act decisively. Since this big-headed man took out a communications pearl, it indicated that he did not have enough blue coins on him. If he waited for the Celestial Lord to come, then the Celestial Lord would definitely have a lot of money on him. At the same time, the money on him might not be enough. This auction hall blocked the use of spiritual consciousness, however, it could not block Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness. At the same time that Ning Cheng quoted the price, his spiritual consciousness passed through the spiritual consciousness isolation restriction and landed on the big-headed man's communications pearl. As soon as the price of 50 billion blue coins was quoted, the auction hall once again burst into an uproar. That beautiful female cultivator was worth 50 billion blue coins, which was barely passable. Now that the female cultivator on the stage was quoted for 50 billion blue coins, it was simply too outrageous. Even if one had money, one could not be so capricious, right? Was this the second young master who had never spent money before? Chapter 506. On the white jade platform, Lanya also looked at Ning Cheng in shock. How could Ning Cheng dare to quote such a price? Where did he get so much money? 55 billion blue coins. The big-headed man once again raised the price. Everyone knew that Ning Cheng's next bid would definitely be 60 billion blue coins. This person truly was rich. Contrary to everyone's expectations, Ning Cheng unexpectedly did not bid again. After a moment of silence, everyone immediately understood. Ning Cheng had just taken out 1 billion green coins, and after spending 500 million, he only had 500 million left. Now that the big-headed man quoted 55 billion blue coins, he should have no money left. I'm sorry. Shi Yulan stood up and spoke in a somewhat sad tone. She understood that he must have spent 500 million green coins on her, which led to Ning Cheng not being able to save his friend. Jing Wuming's face also turned pale, as he also thought of this problem. If saving Shi Yulan resulted in Lanya turning into a slave, he would never feel at ease. The expression on Lanya's face turned gloomy. She knew that she was finished. 55 billion going once. Is there anyone who wants to bid a higher price? 55 billion going twice. If you want to bid, then hurry up. The scantily clad woman on the white jade platform encouraged others to bid while looking at Ning Cheng's side. In her opinion, only Ning Cheng was a fool with too much money. The big-headed man's face turned pale. He was ready to bite down on the price with Ning Cheng and drag it out until the Celestial Lord arrived. He did not expect that Ning Cheng would not increase the price, which made him very anxious. 55 billion going thrice. Congratulations to this friend. You finally got your wish and obtained a beautiful Celestial Gatherer female cultivator. Although Ning Cheng did not continue to increase the price, the scantily clad woman still excitedly announced. She couldn't help but feel excited. The slaves, which were originally worth only a few billion blue coins, had been sold for 55 billion blue coins. How could she not feel excited? Seeing a female cultivator bringing Lanya in front of him, the big-headed man's forehead started to drip cold sweat like soybeans. He only had 20 billion blue coins on him, how could he take out 55 billion? If he couldn't come up with 55 billion, what awaited him would be to become the next slave to be auctioned. I'm sorry, can you wait a little longer? I don't have 55 billion blue coins on me right now. The big-headed man spoke with a trembling voice. He felt extremely anxious and regretful at the same time. Since he didn't have enough money, he wouldn't bid for it for the time being. The Star Lord would definitely have a way. So you're deliberately bidding to make me raise the price. Could it be that you're specially sent by someone to do this? Ning Cheng did not hesitate to throw stones at someone who was down. What he said was to make people doubt the auction house, and let the auction house quickly punish this person. Elder Sister Rong, he bid randomly, he doesn't have any blue coins to pay the bill. Seeing that the big-headed man could not take out any blue coins, the female cultivator in front of him quickly spoke up. Without waiting for the scantily clad woman to speak, someone had already come out. A celestial bridge cultivator directly grabbed the big-headed man and spoke, daring to come to our auction and make trouble, congratulations. You don't have to participate in the auction anymore. You'll be the next one. Ning Cheng stood up, and spoke to the scantily clad woman. Just a moment ago this person had randomly called out a price to cause trouble, may I ask if I won now? The woman charmingly smiled and said, this person will be taken away. Naturally, you will be the winner. As for how much blue coins you should pay, we can confirm how many blue coins this person has on him, and then you can pay with that amount. Our auction house is fair and just, and will never let our guests overpay. Ning Cheng generously waved his hand and took out the 500 million green coins he had just collected and spoke, no need to investigate, I'll use 500 million to buy it. The forthrightness in his tone was evident. Everyone in the hall exclaimed in amazement. What did it mean to be a stupid person with a lot of money? This was it. The woman presiding over the auction gave a joyful look, and the female cultivator immediately brought Lanya to Ning Cheng's side. She did not know that because Ning Cheng did not care about money, she had missed an opportunity to bid for a higher price. Ning Cheng did not hesitate to pay 500 million green coins and bought Lanya, who was still a little confused. Just after the transaction was completed, a man with a pointed chin hurried into the auction hall. He is Miao Pu, the celestial lord of the supporting Taro star. Jing Wuming breathed a sigh of relief and whispered in Ning Cheng's ear. He finally understood why Ning Cheng did not care about tens of billions of blue coins and wanted to buy Lanya immediately. It turned out that Ning Cheng already knew about Miao Pu's arrival. Ning Cheng, thank you. Holding the detention card that Ning Cheng handed to her, Lanya finally understood that she was free. There is no need to say such things between friends. Let's go. That Miao Pu is here. This fellow is not easy to deal with. Ning Cheng finished speaking and was the first to walk out of his seat. Miao Pu swept a cold glance at Ning Cheng and the others before speaking in a cold voice, we will meet again. You're right, we will meet again, or very soon. Ning Cheng replied with the same cold voice. In the revolving Jade City, Miao Pu, a puny celestial lord, would not dare to do anything to him. It was not until this moment that Miao Pu realized that the person in charge of these four people turned out to be Ning Cheng. Although this fellow had the lowest cultivation, he wanted to save his men. Even if he wanted to settle accounts with Ning Cheng, he would have to wait. That fellow really did not find a spiritual consciousness tag on you. It turns out that the scarlet-robed young noble left a spiritual consciousness tag on the ring. After walking out of the auction hall, Lanya spoke up in fear. It's not that I didn't find it. It should be that when I advanced, the spiritual consciousness tag automatically melted away. Ning Cheng guessed that when he advanced to the starry skies sea of consciousness, the spiritual consciousness tag had melted away. With such a powerful starry skies sea of consciousness, even a celestial lord would not be able to place a spiritual consciousness tag on him. Fortunately, that fellow did not have any extra blue coins on him, otherwise, it would have been bad. Jing Wuming still felt some lingering fear. Even if he had blue coins, it would not have been bad. I still have some money on me, I just guessed that he did not have enough blue coins. Ning Cheng comforted him. Xiao Cheng, how did you know that that fellow did not have any extra blue coins on him? In case you guessed wrong, it would have been over. Jing Wuming quickly asked a question. When I saw him speak with a trembling voice, I suspected that this fellow did not have enough blue coins. I guessed that he was waiting for Miao Pu to send him money. Therefore, I just wanted to test him. I hope that senior apprentice Sister Lanya will not blame me. Ning Cheng spoke with a smile. With Shi Yulan at his side, he did not want to talk about his spiritual consciousness. In fact, he had already seen the message from that big-haired fellow, otherwise, he would not have gambled with Lanya's fate. Lanya showed a faint smile and spoke, I will not blame you. Without you, I would have been finished a long time ago. Although she and Ning Cheng did not spend a long time together, it was not short either. She had some understanding of Ning Cheng and felt sure that things were not like what Ning Cheng had said. As for why Ning Cheng was so confident, she could not figure it out. Where are we going now? With Lanya safe, Jing Wuming felt at a loss. What he most wanted to do at this moment was to stare at Shi Yulan and ask, why did you do this? However, he also hoped that Shi Yulan would take the initiative to stand up and explain it to him. However, the fact was that Shi Yulan had not spoken a single word since he bought her. For him to take the initiative to look for Shi Yulan and talk to her, he felt an indescribable feeling in his heart. Before Shi Yulan was rescued, his heart had been tormented and could not wait to replace Shi Yulan with himself. However, after Shi Yulan was rescued, his mentality had changed to a point that even he did not know about it. He did not know if it was hatred or love, or if it was a contradictory intersection. Lanya thought that Shi Yulan was just a slave purchased by Ning Cheng and did not ask much about it. Wuming, do you have a place to live now? Why don't you take her away first? Senior apprentice Sister Lanya and I will go to the Bright Gist resting pen. Ning Cheng could see Jing Wuming's torment and simply let Jing Wuming take Shi Yulan away. Not waiting for Jing Wuming to speak, Shi Yulan spoke up for the first time, I am already a slave. Wherever my master goes, I will go. Shi Yulan's words were obviously directed at Ning Cheng. Jing Wuming opened his mouth but could not speak. Your master is Jing Wuming, that's right, he used to be called Jing Hao. I do not have the habit of buying slaves, so you don't have to follow me. If not for Wuming, I would not have taken out this money. Ning Cheng replied calmly. Shi Yulan, I just want to ask you a question. As for what you want to do in the future, I can't control it, and I don't want to control it. Jing Wuming felt that it was very difficult for him to speak. Every word that came out of his mouth was extremely difficult. Lanya only realized at this time that the relationship between this Shi Yulan and Jing Wuming, whom Ning Cheng had purchased, was not ordinary. From the looks of it, it was not a slave purchase. Shi Yulan replied calmly, I already have a master. If you want to ask me, please ask my master directly. Ning Cheng showed a sneer, Shi Yulan, without Jing Wuming, you and I would just be passers-by. You look beautiful, but only to Wuming. Wuming and I are brothers, and I only saved you because of him. If you think that you can drive a wedge between us with these words, then you still have a long way to go. Shi Yulan's expression remained calm, without any fluctuations. However, Ning Cheng's powerful spiritual consciousness felt a deathly aura. This deathly aura was not aimed at him, but at Shi Yulan. Ning Cheng immediately knew that it was not good. He placed his palm on Shi Yulan's shoulder, causing Shi Yulan's celestial essence to immediately stagnate. Jing Wuming watched Ning Cheng take action, but he did not speak or move. She wanted to blacken her meridians, but I stopped her. Ning Cheng looked at Jing Wuming speechlessly. Help her untie it. We will have nothing to do with each other in the future. Jing Wuming's voice revealed a trace of gray. Ning Cheng looked at Shi Yulan and spoke, I will help you untie it. If you want to continue blackening your meridians, I will no longer care about it. From now on, you are not my slave, and I do not have the habit of accepting slaves. You can go anywhere you want. After that, Ning Cheng then turned to Jing Wuming and Lanya and spoke, if there is no place to live, then go to the Bright Gist resting pen. I estimate that it would be difficult to find a place to stay in the revolving Jade City. Oh. Chapter 507. Ruan Mingshu did not expect that when Ning Cheng came back, he would not come back alone, but with 3 people. Since Shi Yulan wanted to follow the Ning Cheng trio, Ning Cheng had no way to drive her away. What's more, he knew that Jing Wuming still had some fantasies in his heart, as such, he simply pretended not to know anything. Junior apprentice sister Mingshu, these 3 are my friends, Jing Wuming, Lanya, and Shi Yulan. Because it is very difficult to find a place to stay in the revolving Jade City, I would like to ask you to help me find 2 more rooms. If it's really hard to find, then we'll think of another way. Ning Cheng knew that the Ruan clan needed his help, and his friendship with the Ruan clan would also end after the end of the tryouts. He didn't want to miss the opportunity to use the Ruan family's help. Previously, he did not want to live here because he wanted to find Lanya and Jing Wuming. Now that he found them, he did not want to spend any more energy looking for a place to live. Lanya and Jing Wuming did not expect that Ning Cheng would end up living together with a female cultivator, moreover, it was a very beautiful female cultivator. In their view, since Ning Cheng and this female cultivator were living in a double room, then their relationship definitely was not ordinary. Ruan Mingshu's surprise only lasted for a moment, before she immediately recovered and said, of course you can, but the rooms in the rest stop are really tight. I can get another double. Senior apprentice brother Ning, you can stay here with me, the 3 of them can stay in a double room next door. Ruan Mingshu did not wait for Ning Cheng to speak and continued, originally, I could have shared a double room with Lanya and Shi Yulan. However, I have something to discuss with senior apprentice brother Ning in the evening. Therefore, I can only arrange it this way. Lanya naturally did not have any problems with it. Moreover, Shi Yulan and Lanya shared a room and did not refute it. Jing Wuming could not figure out the relationship between Ning Cheng and Ruan Mingshu, as such, he would not ask Ning Cheng and Ruan Mingshu to live separately. What's more, since he and Shi Yulan were living in a double room, he even fantasized that Shi Yulan would take the initiative to explain it to him. Senior apprentice brother Ning, please enter. After Ning Cheng sent the Jing Wuming trio to the next room, he had just walked to the door of Ruan Mingshu's room when Ruan Mingshu took the initiative to open the restriction. Ning Cheng took out 2 cards and handed them to Ruan Mingshu before speaking, many thanks junior apprentice sister Mingshu. I did not use these 2 cards, so I will return them to you. Also, thank you for your help today. Otherwise, we wouldn't have a place to stay. As for the array disc, I'll return it to you in 2 days. Ruan Mingshu took the card and put it back into her lotus cloth bag. She then smiled and said, we are already cooperating with each other, so it's only right that we help each other. There's no need to worry about the array disc. After saying that, Ruan Mingshu asked in a seemingly unintentional manner, by the way, the woman named Shi Yulan standing next to you looks very beautiful. She really looks good, if there is nothing else, then I will go back and rest. Ning Cheng did not want to talk much with Ruan Mingshu, not to mention that he had met Miao Pu today. Before seeing Miao Pu, Ning Cheng still had some confidence in killing Miao Pu. After seeing Miao Pu, Ning Cheng's confidence was somewhat shaken. Moreover, Miao Pu's cultivation was not just in the celestial bridge realm, but also in the undead realm. Relying on a rank 4 array disc, coupled with the trio of him, Jing Wuming and Lanya, it would be difficult to kill Miao Pu. If Ning Cheng had arranged the array formation by himself, then it would have been fine. However, this array formation was not arranged by him, and it was just an array disc, which made Ning Cheng's chances even slimmer. Well, you can go back and rest first. I'll come find you if there's anything. Ruan Mingshu spoke up in a soft voice. It was not like what she had said before, that she wanted to find Ning Cheng for something. Ning Cheng did not want to think about these things. He and the Ruan clan did not know each other at all. Moreover, he had hidden his secrets very deeply. He believed that the Ruan clan would not easily discover them. Besides, if the Ruan clan had discovered his secret, they would have already acted in the Thunder Control City. They would not have waited until now. Ning Cheng had just returned to his room, and had not even had the time to activate the restrictions when he heard Shi Yulan's voice, "Senior apprentice brother Ning, can I come in?" Shi Yulan was Jing Wuming's former Dao companion. For her to come looking for him alone at this time, it made Ning Cheng frown slightly. However, he still spoke up, "Come in. I hope that the person you are looking for is Wuming, not me." Shi Yulan quickly entered Ning Cheng's room and took the initiative to activate the restrictions. "Sit down. What do you want from me?" Ning Cheng pointed to a chair and spoke. Shi Yulan first gave a respectful bow to Ning Cheng before speaking, "Many thanks to senior apprentice brother Ning for saving my life twice." Ning Cheng showed a slight smile, "I only saved you twice. It's nothing." Shi Yulan secretly sighed. How could she not understand the meaning behind Ning Cheng's words? That is, Jing Wuming had already saved her many times, yet she had never thanked him. She did not continue to speak words of gratitude. Instead, she took the initiative to sit down and spoke up, "My father is called Shi Guangsheng, and my mother is called Yu Molan. My father is a devil cultivator, while my mother is a gentle and quiet woman from a famous family. During a mystical realm tournament in the Luk continent, my father met my mother, and they fell in love at first sight. However, my maternal grandfather hated my father for being a devil cultivator and took the initiative to betroth my mother to Tan Sun from the Luk continent's Tan clan." Shi Yulan's voice seemed to come from the distant horizon. It was so faint that people could not hear it. The Tan clan is one of the largest clans in the Luk continent. The Luk continent's largest academy, the Kuan-Yin Academy, was established by the ancestors of the Tan clan. Every academy head of the Tan clan is a member of the Tan clan, which has a huge influence in the Luk continent. After Tan Sun saw my mother, he was unable to control himself. However, my mother already had my father, and she refused Tan Sun. Facing the Tan clan and the Kuan-Yin Academy, my father and my mother could no longer make the decision. The Tan clan wanted to forcibly marry my mother, so my father took my mother and tried to escape. It's just that my father's strength was weak, and he was eventually killed by the Tan clan. My mother escaped alone, and at this time, she was already more than 3 months pregnant with me. Shi Yulan seemed to have recalled the hardships she had to endure with her mother, causing tears to flow from her eyes. Even her tone had a bit more vitality. The Tan clan could not catch my mother, so they vented their anger on my father and my maternal grandfather's family. They slaughtered my maternal grandfather's family, not even sparing a few years old children. Then they burned my father's life essence within fire for a full 49 days, causing my father to die in inhuman torment. After my mother learned about my father's death, she was grief-stricken, and her spirit deteriorated day by day. Finally, when I was 7 years old, my mother also left me. I grew up surrounded by hatred, and I vowed to destroy the Kuan-Yin Academy, to kill that bastard Tan Sun. However, my strength was too weak, and I was also a devil cultivator, as such I did not have the ability to destroy the Kuan-Yin Academy. At that time, I met Jing Hao. Perhaps Jing Hao himself did not know that although he was Tan Sun's disciple, he was actually Tan Sun's illegitimate son. Coupled with his excellent qualifications, and Tan Sun being the sect master of the Kuan-Yin Academy, he naturally doted on him. Ning Cheng took the initiative to pour a cup of spiritual tea for Shi Yulan, and vaguely came to a realization. Shi Yulan's experience was just too miserable. If replaced by him, his means of revenge would not have been much worse than Shi Yulan's. Sure enough, Shi Yulan continued with a mournful voice, in order to destroy the Kuan-Yin Academy and the Tan clan, after I met Jing Hao, I deliberately killed the true inheriting disciples of several major academies, some of whom were even the juniors of the academy's elders. This matter finally aroused public anger, and Jing Hao took me and fled to the Kuan-Yin Academy. In order to let others know that I was in the Kuan-Yin Academy, I leaked the news. Ning Qing gave out a dark sigh in his heart. When Jing Wuming told him about this matter, he still wondered who leaked the news. He had brought Shi Yulan into the Kuan-Yin Academy in secret, and no one else knew about it. However, as soon as they entered the Kuan-Yin Academy, people immediately came to know about it. It turned out that Shi Yulan was the one who leaked the news. It's just that this Shi Yulan was also ruthless and unscrupulous, killing a few irrelevant people to provoke hatred. If replaced by him, he would never have used such a method. Shi Yulan showed a bitter smile. My purpose was achieved. I used Jing Hao's hand to destroy the Kuan-Yin Academy, the Tan clan, and even Tan Sun. Although I got my revenge, I felt sorry for Jing Hao. He is innocent. He took me to escape into the starry skies, saved me many times, and gave all the resources he obtained to me for cultivation. Every moment I spent with him, I would suffer more. Every time he went out to look for cultivation resources, would hide at home and cultivate. In fact, I didn't dare to be with him. Sometimes, I thought that if Jing Hao fell one day, I would commit suicide, and this case would come to an end. But in the end, I ended up owing him more and more. Humans are not plants or trees, which made my heart even more tormented. Ning Qing remained silent. He did not know how to comfort both sides in this matter. I took away the true spirit world, and did not want to take risks to look for resources, all to let Jing Hao know that I am a selfish person and let him leave me. But Jing Hao was too stupid. He never said a single harsh word to me. Being together with Jing Hao is a torture for me. Until one day, Celestial River King Shang Mao saw me and said to me, I am born with an innate charm. If I stayed with Jing Hao, I would sooner or later harm Jing Hao. He can take me away and give me my freedom. At the same time, he won't hurt Jing Hao. I couldn't stand this kind of torment. Even if Celestial River King Shang Mao did not appear, would have found a chance to leave Jing Hao. But you shouldn't have taken away Wu Ming's true spirit world. Do you know what a true spirit world means? Countless lives. Ning Qing still helped Jing Hao to speak up. Shi Yulan laughed at herself. That true spirit world did not belong to the Tan clan, but to my Shi clan. It was something my father obtained, but before he could refine it, the Kuan-Yin Academy killed him. Unfortunately, I couldn't keep the true spirit world. Now, the true spirit world is in the hands of Celestial River King Shang Mao. I took away the true spirit world, not because it was precious, but because it was the only thing my father left behind. Then why did you appear in the slave auction market? Oh. Ning Qing suddenly thought about the death of Shi Yulan's parents and wondered if it had anything to do with the true spirit world. It was because of the true spirit world. I thought that Celestial River King Shang Mao really took a fancy to my appearance. But I was wrong. I was too confident. Celestial River King Shang Mao might have taken a fancy to my appearance, but his real goal was definitely the true spirit world. Shi Yulan clenched her fists. Ning Qing could clearly feel the unwillingness and resentment in her heart. Chapter 508. When I left the ocean gambling city with Shang Moyang, he said that it was not safe to leave the true spirit world with me. Therefore, he took care of it for me. I could not resist at all. Shi Yulan's tone had already calmed down. Ning Qing guessed that Shi Yulan had already taken note of this enmity. How did you end up in the Orchid Burrow Celestial River and ended up being sold to the slave market? Ning Qing asked in doubt. Shi Yulan's hands turned white. Shan Moyang accepted the invitation of the Orchid Burrow Celestial River King and came to the revolving Jade City. He even brought me along. In fact, he knew that I was a vengeful person and did not feel at ease leaving me in the Shangmao Celestial River. I did not want to be treated as a puppet, so I used his name to sign up for the Manluan Starry Skies Celestial Scryer Genius tryouts, which angered him. He threw me into the slave market in front of so many people. He didn't show me any mercy. Shangmao Celestial River King is in the revolving Jade City? Ning Qing asked in shock. He was shocked that Shangmao Celestial River King was in the revolving Jade City. As for Shi Yulan wanting to stay alive and participate in the Celestial Scryer Genius tryouts, he understood it very well. To leave the Shangmao Celestial River King, the only way was to go to the Manluan Starry Skies. Shi Yulan nodded, yes, he is indeed in the Orchid Burrow Celestial River, but he will soon leave the Orchid Burrow Celestial River. I'm afraid that once he knows that the person who bought you is Wu Ming, he will not let you go. Ning Qing spoke with a frown. Shi Yulan remained silent. She had no way out. If Ning Qing drove her away, she would once again fall into the hands of the Shangmao Celestial River King. You stay here and don't go out. Go talk to Lanya and tell her not to go out either. When the Orchid Burrow Celestial River's tryouts begin, that Shangmao Celestial River King will definitely leave this place. Shangmao Celestial River will also have to go through the tryouts. He cannot stay here for long. Ning Qing finally decided to let Shi Yulan stay. Shi Yulan did not say any words of thanks this time. She stood up and gave Ning Qing a bow before turning around and walking towards Ning Qing's room. Wait. Ning Qing called out to Shi Yulan, do you know the best mask-type weapons in the revolving Jade City? There is a place called Ice Wind Merchant House. This place is not very conspicuous, but many people in the revolving Jade City know about it. This place has the best concealment treasures, but the price is also very high. Ordinary cultivators are not willing to go there. Speaking until here, Shi Yulan subconsciously reached out to take out the jade strip containing the map of the revolving Jade City from her ring. However, she immediately showed a self-deprecating smile. Apart from the set of clothes on her body, she did not have anything else. So he continued, the Ice Wind Merchant House is located at the north gate of the revolving Jade City. After you get there, you can ask any local cultivator about it. Ning Qing nodded, you go back and tell Lanya, not to go out for the next few days. I will bring you and Lanya's rings tomorrow. Shi Yulan did not refuse. In a starry sky city, without a ring or a weapon, it would only lead to death. Not to mention participating in the qualifiers. Not long after Shi Yulan left, Jing Wuming once again stood at the door of Ning Qing's room. Ning Qing opened the restriction and let Jing Wuming in. Jing Wuming heard Shi Yulan's words. Ning Qing knew that Jing Wuming was listening at the door, so he deliberately released the restrictions to let Jing Wuming listen. If two people wanted to resolve the misunderstanding, then they must first understand what the misunderstanding was. However, between Jing Wuming and Shi Yulan, there was no such thing as a misunderstanding. For the two of them, it was an enmity of killing one's father. Even Ning Qing had no way to mediate between them. I heard it all. Jing Wuming spoke the first sentence after coming in. Ning Qing gave out a sigh, I don't know how to help you. You and Shi Yulan live very close to each other. This kind of thing, you need to deal with it yourself. Jing Wuming's face no longer showed the torment and anxiety from before. His tone even turned calm and calm, Xiaocheng, let's end this matter here. There is no right or wrong in this matter. It stands to reason that I should have killed her to take revenge, but I really couldn't bring myself to do it. Her parents and her entire family were destroyed by my Wunyan Academy, but she also did not do anything to me. I just feel sorry for the brothers and sisters of the Wunyan Academy. The dead are already dead. Wu Ming, I should not have said anything about this matter. However, even without Shi Yulan's matter, the Wuxian Academy's methods of doing things were a bit too vicious. Sooner or later, something bad would have happened. If it was a genuine hatred, then it would have been fine. What's more, this was not a hatred at all. They even killed a few years old children. Ning Qing spoke with a sigh. When he went to the Red Star Sword faction for revenge, he had taken the initiative to let the cultivators from the Red Star Sword faction escape. The Wuxian Academy had exterminated the entire Wuxian Academy, not even sparing a few years old children. Most importantly, the two sides did not have any deep hatred. Even if Ning Qing encountered such evil acts, he would not have been able to help himself. Wu Ming, don't think too much about it. I want to tell you one thing. I originally planned to ask you and Lanya to ambush Miao Pu. However, I have seen Miao Pu's cultivation, he should at least be in the undead realm. If we ambush him, it would not bode well for us. It just so happens that Celestial River King Shang Mao is also in the revolving Jade City. I suggest that everyone stay in the Bright Gist resting pen for this month and not go out casually. As for other things, we can talk about them after the tournament. Ning Cheng's tone turned even more cautious this time. Now that many things had piled up, in case something happened, none of them would be able to escape. After thinking about it, Ning Qing added, "Give me the images of the two cultivators from the arena who plotted against you and Lanya." Jing Wuming raised his hand and drew out the images of the two cultivators. It's these two fellows. They should not be the people of that Celestial Lord. Most likely, the Celestial Lord had temporarily invited them. Also, you have to be careful. I'm going into seclusion for a month. From today onwards, I will put aside everything and focus on cultivation. As for the matter with me, Shi Yulan, you don't have to worry about it. Just treat it as someone you just met. The past her and the past me are no longer there. After Jing Wuming finished, he slowly turned around and left. As for whether he could really do it or not, only the heavens knew. Ning Qing did not really stay in the room to rest. For a month, he would not cultivate in this place. With his current cultivation speed of absorbing the Starry Sky's essence qi, the progress he could make in a month was negligible. Therefore, he decided to change his appearance. Elder sister Shu had taught him the appearance-changing technique. Since separating from Lan Shu, Ning Cheng had not seen her again. With his appearance-changing technique, it would be too difficult to cover up in the revolving Jade City. However, his spiritual consciousness was powerful enough that he could use his spiritual sense to cover up and change his aura. However, it was only temporary. Therefore, the thing that Ning Cheng wanted to buy the most right now was a mask-type weapon that could cover up one's aura and face. If not for Shi Yulan, Ning Cheng would never have known about the existence of the Ice Wind Merchant House in the revolving Jade City. Although the name Ice Wind Merchant House sounded very imposing, it was not a good place. Not to mention that it was located in a remote place, there was only a single broken wooden building. After Ning Cheng walked into the broken wooden building, he realized that it was quite lively inside. At least 8 or 9 people crowded inside the small wooden building, looking at a variety of mask-type weapons in the windows of the wooden building. An old man with a thick book in his hand sat behind a dilapidated counter, looking intently at it. As Ning Cheng came in, no one paid any attention to him. Ning Cheng, like these people, also looked at the mask-type weapons in the windows. When some of the cultivators who bought the mask-type weapons paid for it, Ning Cheng paid a little attention. A best-quality true artifact mask-type weapon cost 500 million blue coins. Moreover, a cultivator who bought a low-grade Dao artifact mask-type weapon had to pay 20 billion blue coins. Such an expensive price, Ning Cheng thought in his heart, Shi Yulan really did not say anything wrong. In other places, the price of a best-quality true artifact ranged from 100 million to 300 million blue coins, while a low-grade Dao artifact would generally cost around 10 billion blue coins. However, this place directly doubled the price. Ning Cheng looked left and right. Although the people here had already left, he still could not make up his mind. If you want to do a big deal, I still have a middle-grade Dao artifact here, do you want it? This middle-grade Dao artifact has not been refined yet. The first person to refine it would be able to change their appearance at will. If you are the first person to refine it, then even I would not know that you are wearing a mask-type weapon. The old man suddenly put down the book in his hand and spoke to Ning Cheng with a smile. Ning Cheng did not feel excited. He knew that he could not afford to buy a middle-grade Dao artifact. Senior, do you think I look like a customer who can afford a middle-grade Dao artifact? You do. If you do not have enough celestial coins, you can exchange it with items. As long as you can come up with something that satisfies me, I will exchange it with you. The old man spoke with certainty. Ning Cheng thought that this old man should be an artifact crafting master. Artifact crafting masters generally had fire-attributed main spiritual roots. He also had some fire origin crystals, but he did not know if they would be useful to this fellow. How many celestial coins is this middle-grade Dao artifact mask-type weapon? Ning Cheng thought of the fire origin crystals and could not help but ask. This Dao artifact has some flaws, so I will give you the cheapest price, 10 billion green coins. The old man spoke with increasing interest. Ning Cheng took out a fire origin crystal and spoke, I don't have that many green coins, I only have a piece of fire origin crystal. The old man on seeing the fire origin crystal in Ning Cheng's hand immediately lit up. Not waiting for Ning Cheng to finish his words, he anxiously called out, yes, yes, you can use that fire origin crystal to exchange for my mask-type weapon. Today, someone finally came up with something decent. In his eagerness, the old man even reached out to grab the fire origin crystal in Ning Cheng's hand. Ning Cheng calmly took back the fire origin crystal and spoke up slowly, my entire net worth is this piece of fire origin crystal. If I only exchange it for a mask-type weapon, what would I do in the future? Although he spoke those words, Ning Cheng was cursing in his heart. Oh. This old man actually took out a middle-grade Dao artifact mask-type weapon just to exchange for something good. It was not what he said at all. At the same time, Ning Cheng also realized the preciousness of this fire origin crystal. If he had known about it earlier, he would have gotten more of it. I can compensate you with some green coins, just name a price. The old man turned even more anxious, fearing that Ning Cheng would turn around and leave. Ning Cheng stretched out his hand and started counting on his fingers, I need an attack-type weapon, a real celestial river-class battleship, a little pocket money, and some good cultivation pills. By the way, I also plan to buy an immortal cave in the revolving Jade City and find a few wives. The old man's face turned darker and darker as Ning Cheng spoke. Chapter 509. How could I have so many green coins? I can give you this middle-grade Dao artifact mask, plus a low-grade Dao artifact long sword, and then give you 1 billion green coins. These are the most I can take out. The old man spoke while his eyes stared at the fire origin crystal in Ning Cheng's hand. Ning Cheng, on the other hand, was pleasantly surprised. He had never thought that a fire origin crystal would be this precious. After he obtained the fire origin bead, he didn't care about the fire origin crystal because he didn't have a fire spirit root. Now that this old man attached so much importance to it, Ning Cheng felt that he had underestimated this fire origin crystal. Ning Cheng raised the origin crystal in his hand and spoke, a middle-grade Dao artifact mask, plus a low-grade Dao artifact long spear, plus 5 billion green coins. By the way, I'm still missing 2 low-grade Dao artifact rings. If it's okay, then it's a deal. If it's not, then I'll take this origin crystal to auction. These 2 low-grade Dao artifact rings were all for Shi Yulan and Lanya. Yes, you can. The old man couldn't wait to call out, I just happen to have a treasured thunder spear, I'll give it to you. As he spoke, a dull spear appeared in his hand. The spear looked very majestic, but it did not have any spirituality. Ning Cheng didn't care about it. Being able to exchange a fire origin crystal for so many things already made him happy. Orchid Burrow's premier merchant house. Whether it was day or night, there was no shortage of cultivators buying magic weapons. That was because it contained the best weapons, the most advanced battleships, and the most complete equipment in the Orchid Burrow Celestial River. However, compared to the daytime, there were fewer people at night. Now that it was almost daybreak, there were fewer and fewer people around. At this time, a rough-looking youth walked into the merchant house. This youth had a weathered face and an unshaven beard. At a glance, one could tell that he was the kind of person who wandered the starry sky all year round. This was none other than Ning Cheng wearing a mask-type artifact. Even if it was someone familiar with Ning Cheng, it would be impossible for them to recognize that this was Ning Cheng. "Friend, what would you like to purchase?" The shop assistant walked up to Ning Cheng with a smile on his face. He knew that cultivators like Ning Cheng, who wandered the starry sky, were the most refreshing and the most difficult to deal with. "I want a void battleship, one that is fast and has a strong combat capability." Ning Cheng spoke with a hoarse voice. "Friend, please follow me." The shop assistant brought Ning Cheng to a huge hall filled with all kinds of void battleships. Ning Cheng did not understand anything about battleships, so he spoke up, "I want a Celestial River-class battleship. Moreover, I want the kind that comes from a real technological planet. It would be best if it has a flowing sky cannon." The shop assistant looked a little depressed as he spoke up, "Celestial River-class battleships equipped with flowing sky cannons are currently not available for sale in the Orchid Burrow Star. Perhaps this friend can go to the auction that will be held tomorrow to take a look. The prices there are not low." From the looks of it, Ning Cheng's cultivation did not seem to be very high. Moreover, the shop assistant's last sentence implied that if one wanted to purchase a high-level Starry Skies battleship, one would need to have enough celestial coins. At the auction, the price of the same item would increase by at least 10 to 20%, not to mention the rarer Celestial River-class battleships. Ning Cheng did not care about the words of the shop assistant. He suddenly remembered the brochure of the auction that he had obtained, as he hurriedly said goodbye to the shop assistant, and quickly left the Orchid Burrow's premier merchant house. Inside the bright just resting pen, Lanya and Shi Yulan sat across from each other. The two of them had no rings, no weapons, and no celestial coins. Even if they wanted to go out, they had no way to do so. Ning Cheng said that he would come. Shi Yulan spoke with some difficulty. If there was a way, she really did not want to stay in this place. Lanya gave out a sigh and spoke, "The last time I was also clean, Ning Cheng ended up giving me a ring. I didn't expect it to be the same this time, alas." "What happened the last time?" Shi Yulan unexpectedly still had the mood to ask about this. "The last time I stimulated the raging flames in the void, I almost got burned to death." "No, it's not that, it was because I accidentally entered the bright void gorge. Also, it was not because of the bright void gorge. My ring really did get burned by the raging flames in the void." Lanya did not want to talk about these things. After all, she was in a very sorry state at that time, which made it a bit confusing. Shi Yulan looked at Lanya in amazement. "Senior apprentice Sister Lanya, do you mean that your clothes got burned, and then?" Lanya's face turned slightly red, "Wandering the starry skies, it's nothing much. Moreover, my clothes did not get burned, I still have a good set of inner armor." Lanya felt her tone turn a bit pale. A good set of inner armor, to put it bluntly, was just a good set of undergarments. The restriction at the door shook, which made Lanya feel relieved. She did not want to continue talking about this shameful thing. "Wu Ming. Come in." After Lanya called out, she subconsciously glanced at Shi Yulan. She already knew about Jing Wuming and Shi Yulan's matters. These two people could be said to be two tragedies. As such, she could not say anything more. Jing Wuming's face turned a bit pale, but he shook his head and spoke, "I'm not going in. There are 2 rings here, one for each of you." After saying that, he stuffed the ring into Lanya's hand. "I don't want mine, you can take it back." I owe you a lot, and I don't want to owe you anymore. Shi Yulan's voice sounded very calm. Jing Wuming did not take back the ring. You don't owe me, and I don't owe you anything. That unfilial Jing Hao is already dead, and from now on, only Jing Wuming will exist. These 2 rings were not given by me, but by Xiaocheng's people. Xiaocheng is very busy and has no time. After Jing Wuming finished, he turned around and left, not staying for a moment longer. Shi Yulan stared at Jing Wuming's back and did not move for a long time. Lanya understood why Ning Cheng asked Jing Wuming to deliver the rings. Ning Cheng wanted Jing Wuming and Shi Yulan to talk for a while, however, Ning Cheng's idea obviously fell through. She put a ring in Shi Yulan's hand and pulled Shi Yulan back. You don't have to think about the past. There is no right or wrong in this matter. After Ning Cheng handed the 2 rings to Jing Wuming, he returned to his room and immediately took out the treasured thunder spear to refine it. Although his Nirvana spear was good, it could not play its full role. After all, it was still a raw material. The treasured thunder spear was a low-grade Dao artifact. Moreover, it was a thunder-attributed weapon. With Ning Cheng's current cultivation, it was just enough for him to use. After the treasured thunder spear was refined, Ning Cheng grabbed it in his hand and immediately felt a trace of spirituality. A faint thunder glow surrounded the spear's handle, which made Ning Cheng feel very satisfied. He had not spent the fire origin crystal in vain. Moreover, the things he obtained from it were all useful. Wan Mingshu's room and Ning Cheng's room happened to be facing each other. She had just walked out of her room when she saw a faint thunder glow flickering inside the restriction covering Ning Cheng's room. She felt shocked in her heart. Did Ning Cheng have a thunder-attributed spiritual root? Thunder-attributed spiritual roots were very rare. If he fell, it would truly be a pity. But soon she shook her head. The number of geniuses that fell in the endless starry skies far exceeded the hundreds of millions. Not to mention Ning Cheng, even she, Wan Mingshu, could not control her own destiny. Unless one day, she could cultivate to a level where she needed others to look up to her. When Wan Mingshu's spiritual consciousness fell on the restriction covering the door, Ning Cheng immediately felt it and put away the treasured thunder spear. He had always been a little wary of Wan Mingshu. This woman treated him too well. If it was just because of a cooperative relationship, it made him very suspicious. After Ning Cheng refined the treasured thunder spear, he also planned to go out. Of course, the place he wanted to go to was the auction. Yesterday, he had gone to the slave market auction. Today, he wanted to go to the large-scale auction hosted by the Orchid Burrow Celestial River. One could imagine that with so many celestial lords and talented cultivators gathered in the Orchid Burrow Celestial River, such an auction would definitely not be small. Ning Cheng wanted to go to the auction for one thing, the Amethyst Heaven Mysterious Crystal. The Amethyst Heaven Mysterious Crystal was something he needed to advance to the twin radiant heavenly cloud leaves, which was Ning Cheng's twin wings of the heavenly clouds. According to Ning Cheng's previous understanding, every time the twin radiant heavenly cloud leaves advanced to the next level, it would produce an additional pair of glowing lights. Currently, his twin wings of the heavenly clouds already had 2 pairs of glowing lights. If he added another pair, the speed of the twin wings of the heavenly clouds would definitely increase. It was precisely because he saw the Amethyst Heaven Mysterious Crystal that Ning Cheng spent 100 blue coins to purchase the brochure for the auction items. Now that he heard that the auction also contained a real celestial river battleship, he wanted to go and have a look. This was already the 3rd large-scale auction held by the Revolving Jade City in the past month, and it certainly would not be the last one. The reason for this was naturally because the Revolving Jade City had gathered all the rich people of the entire Celestial River, as well as the various treasures of the entire Celestial River. Ning Cheng could not get a private room, not because he did not have the money, but because his identity was not high enough. However, Ning Cheng did not care about this. The scale of this auction was much bigger compared to the slave auction that he had attended yesterday. Each guest had an isolated space. If the isolation restriction of this space was activated, then other people's spiritual consciousness would not be able to sweep in. It was equivalent to a small private room. However, few people would choose to isolate their seats. It was as if they were trying to hide their identity. Even if you bid at the auction, no one would know who you were. Everyone who participated in the auction had a unique serial number, which only they would know. Moreover, there was no need for them to shout out their bids, as long as they entered the price they wanted to bid in front of their seat. As long as your bid was the highest, everyone would be able to see it on the huge array formation monitoring screen. Even if the bid was successful, no one would send the item to you. It was just that after the transaction was completed, the item would automatically be sent to you. Ning Cheng's identity to participate in the auction was that of a starry skies wanderer with a face full of stubble. He did not isolate his seat, and no one here knew who he was. The auction had not yet begun, but Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness noticed that Wan Mingshu had also arrived. In addition to her, the sharp-chinned celestial Lord Miao Pu also appeared. After waiting for an incense stick worth of time, a female cultivator dressed in formal attire walked onto the main stage of the auction house. This female cultivator first bowed to the audience before speaking. "I will be presiding over this auction. I am Deacon Uni of the Celestial Path Chamber of Commerce. I hope that everyone will be satisfied with the various treasures for sale. The first treasure for sale is a beast egg of a starry skies 1,000-split violent ape. The base price is 1 million green coins, and each bid increment must not be lower than 100,000 green coins. Start the bidding now." Chapter 5:10. The 1,000-split explosive ape was a powerful starry skies demonic beast. Most starry skies demonic beasts were oviparous. Starry skies demonic beasts needed to absorb the starry skies essence chi before they were born. Demonic beasts born from eggs could absorb enough starry skies essence chi before breaking out of their shells, allowing them to possess super combat strength. If one had a 1,000-split explosive ape egg, as long as the egg was alive, one could make the 1,000-split explosive ape recognize it as its master. As long as one had enough resources to cultivate the 1,000-split explosive ape, it would become a powerful helper in the future. Because of this, the price of the 1,000-split explosive ape egg quickly rose to 10 million green coins and was finally bought by someone for 17 million green coins. The price did not go higher because the 1,000-split explosive ape egg also had a big weakness, that is, it was difficult to break out of its shell. Secondly, it required a lot of cultivation resources to cultivate. Some wealthy cultivators would rather buy starry skies demonic beasts with more powerful combat strength than spend money on a 1,000-split explosive ape. Ning Cheng naturally did not bid. He did not have much money and wanted to use it where it mattered most. The next item for sale is a celestial river bead. When you and I spoke about the celestial river bead, it immediately aroused a burst of discussion. Ning Cheng felt a little depressed. He did not even know what a celestial river bead was. Fortunately, you and I continued, "I believe that everyone understands what a celestial river bead is. It is a bead refined by a celestial river king. It can generate a powerful domain that binds the surrounding space and then turns everything in that space into dust. This celestial river bead was refined by a powerhouse in the heaven-seated realm. The base price is 50 million green coins, and each bid increment must be no less than 1 million green coins." Ning Cheng suddenly understood. It looked like something equivalent to a soul essence bead. This was definitely a good thing. Ning Cheng dispelled the idea of selling it. The price of this one-time use bead had already risen to 150 million green coins. "I'm still too poor," Ning Cheng sighed in his heart. As the auction continued, one thing after another was auctioned off. However, Ning Cheng did not make a single move after coming in. He had limited green coins, and the things here were worth hundreds of millions of green coins. His money would only last a few rounds. The next thing to be auctioned is the Amethyst Heaven Mysterious Crystal. This kind of thing can be used to upgrade various kinds of natural wings, whether it is the Silver Star Wings or the Twin Heavenly Cloud Wings or the Hidden Thunder Wings. If he wanted to level up, he would need the Amethyst Heaven Mysterious Crystal. The base price of the Amethyst Heaven Mysterious Crystal is 10 million green coins, and each increment must be no less than 1 million green coins. When Ning Cheng heard about the Amethyst Heaven Mysterious Crystal, his spirit immediately shook. He had come here for the Amethyst Heaven Mysterious Crystal. Within the starry skies, the price was indeed high. The Amethyst Heaven Mysterious Crystal had only allowed his twin wings of the heavenly clouds to evolve to the third layer of multicolored lights, yet the price had already reached 10 million green coins. Moreover, this was only the starting price. Ning Cheng did not have the time to quote a price when the price on the huge monitor screen soared. It quickly broke through 30 million green coins and headed straight for 50 million green coins. Ning Cheng carefully swept out with his spiritual consciousness. Since the price had risen so quickly, then it definitely meant that someone else had the same idea as him. Soon Ning Cheng found another acquaintance. It was the young woman called Ni Feng. When he had just advanced to the celestial novice realm, he had fought against this woman. This woman was from Ocean Bow's #1 casino. He didn't expect her to come here. Ning Cheng was even more sure that this woman wanted the Amethyst Heaven Mysterious Crystals, as such was the reason why she kept increasing the price. She had a pair of Silver Star Wings. If she wanted to level up, she would need this kind of thing. Ning Cheng didn't expect that this woman would have such a long life. Wei Wu unexpectedly did not kill her. Not to mention that Ning Cheng needed the Amethyst Heaven Mysterious Crystal. Even if he did not want the Amethyst Heaven Mysterious Crystal, he would not let this thing fall into the hands of this woman. Ning Cheng did not hesitate to quote a price of 50 million green coins. Once the Amethyst Heaven Mysterious Crystal reached this price, very few people would increase the price. This was already the limit of the Amethyst Heaven Mysterious Crystal. Moreover, the people who came to this auction were not fools. Ni Feng frowned. She was much more cautious than Ning Cheng. After quoting 60 million, she did not use her spiritual consciousness to sweep around. In this kind of place, if one's spiritual consciousness swept around randomly, it would definitely offend someone. In case one offended a powerhouse, they might just end up turning into ashes the moment they left the city. After Ning Cheng quoted 70 million, Ni Feng finally gave up on the competition. 70 million green coins were drawn out, and the Amethyst Heaven Mysterious Crystal also fell in front of Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng put away the Amethyst Heaven Mysterious Crystal and felt very satisfied in his heart. In any case, his first purpose for coming here today had been achieved. The next item for auction is a Celestial River-class void battleship. This battleship comes from the real technological Celestial River, the Pil Rice Celestial River. Although it is just a beginner-level Celestial River-class battleship, it is equipped with radium light arrows and a flowing sky cannon. Moreover, this Celestial River-class battleship has been modified by a true cultivator and is equipped with a Grade 4 Celestial River-class defensive array formation. Currently, the starting price of this beginner-level Celestial River-class battleship is 7 billion green coins, and each increment must be no less than 100 million green coins. The words spoken by the female cultivator on the auction stage immediately caused Ning Cheng's happy mood to sink to the bottom. He could not even afford the starting price with his celestial coins. The Celestial River-class battleship quickly ended up being bought by someone else for more than 10 billion green coins. As such, Ning Cheng simply did not stand a chance at all. Knowing that he could not purchase a Celestial River-class void battleship with his money, Ning Cheng decided to leave the auction house. Compared to Jing Wuming and the others, Ning Cheng was considered a rich man. However, in this auction, he was a downright pauper. The words of the female cultivator presiding over the auction once again made Ning Cheng stay. I believe that many of the people here are going to participate in the Manluan Starry Skies Celestial Scryer Genius tryouts. Moreover, The thing we are going to auction now happens to be related to this tryouts. Ning Cheng was not the only one who felt attracted by these words, almost everyone in the audience felt attracted. This female cultivator spoke the truth. Most of the cultivators here were going to participate in the Manluan Starry Skies Celestial Scryer Genius tryouts. This is just a rough positional map, however, I can tell you with certainty that this positional map shows a part of the Manluan Starry Skies premier mystic realm, the Time Wilderness. As long as you can enter the Time Wilderness, this map would be of use to you. Perhaps, you could even earn 100 times more than the price of this map. Currently, the reserve price for this map is 100 million green coins, and each bid must not be lower than 10 million. Ning Cheng initially thought that the competition for this map would definitely be extremely intense, however, even after waiting for a long time, no one bid. This was definitely not normal. Even if it was a rubbish item, many people would still bid for it. Wasn't a price of 100 million green coins not too outrageous? The female cultivator presiding over the auction also felt a little embarrassed and spoke up again. This map was sent by an expert. If not for this expert. The female cultivator's words suddenly turned joyful. Someone bid, 110 million green coins, is there any higher bid? 110 million celestial coins going once. Ning Cheng bid 110 million celestial coins, and without any competition, he managed to purchase the map. After the transaction, Ning Cheng vaguely felt that something was not right. He turned his head and whispered to a cultivator beside him, "Friend, why didn't anyone bid for that map just now? I heard that the Manluan Starry Skies tournament will be held in the Time Wilderness, right?" The cultivator on hearing Ning Cheng's words laughed and spoke, "Nowadays, the revolving Jade Cities auctions always bring out this kind of map to sell, just to deceive some cultivators who don't understand it. Let me tell you the truth, this kind of map is sold everywhere in the Manluan Starry Skies main cities. The price is 100 green coins per map, and you can buy as many as you want. I don't know which fool used 110 million green coins to buy a map worth a few thousand green coins, haha." Ning Cheng touched his face and gave out a dark sigh. What bad luck. He stood up and no longer wanted to stay in this place. He could not buy what he wanted to buy, while those who did not want to buy it ended up getting cheated. After Ning Cheng left the auction house, he did not return to the Bright Gist resting pen. Instead, he went to the revolving Jade Cities arena. This was something he had already planned out. Jing Wuming and Lanya ended up falling into the hands of two celestial shatterer cultivators. Now that Jing Wuming and Lanya could not leave the Bright Gist resting pen, he naturally needed to take revenge. Moreover, Ning Cheng also felt that Jing Wuming had spoken the truth. If he wanted to grow stronger, he had to constantly fight against a variety of opponents. The Manluan Starry Skies had many geniuses, while he was just a puny celestial novice cultivator. Even if his sea of consciousness was more powerful than others, he would still be at a disadvantage. In the short term, he could not improve his cultivation, therefore, he could only improve his combat effectiveness through actual combat. Ning Cheng had never been to the Ocean Gambling Cities arena, however, the revolving Jade Cities arena was truly packed with people. Even if the auction was still going on, it did not affect the popularity of this place. Of course, the most popular arenas were the ever-victorious battle rings. These battle rings always had a variety of spectators around them. They paid to come here, not only to observe the fighting techniques of the people on the battle rings, but also to feel the murderous aura. Of course, there were also some cultivators who came here to make money. There were all kinds of challenges in this place, as long as one was not afraid of death, as long as one was willing to take risks. If one wanted to fight with someone, then that person would be able to fight with you. Ning Cheng took out the image of the two celestial shatterer cultivators who dealt with Jing Wuming and Lanya and asked the person at the entrance of the arena, "I want to go to their battle ring." "Which battle ring is it?" These two celestial shatterer cultivators who deliberately tried to pick a fight with Jing Wuming and Lanya were found by Miao Pu in the arena. This kind of person must have frequented the arena all year round. They are Gongshi Kue and Kirk from the 19th Battle Ring. The spectator tickets for the 19th Battle Ring are 1,000 blue coins, while the challenge tickets are 10,000 blue coins. The person in charge of the reception at the arena quickly checked and replied, without any intention of keeping it a secret. No one would hide anything when looking for someone in the arena. As for the spectator tickets and the challenge tickets, there was a difference. The spectator tickets could only be used to watch the fight, while the challenge tickets allowed one to watch the fight or challenge the opponent at any time. If one could become the champion for a long time, 20% of the spectator tickets for the battle ring would belong to one. Ning Cheng took the challenge ticket and walked to the 19th battle ring. He then found a corner and sat down. Since Gongshi Kue and Kirk were messing around in the 19th battle ring, he would definitely be able to see the two of them. Therefore, he had to first observe the methods of the two people before deciding to step onto the stage. Ning Cheng had just sat down when the two people in front of him whispered to each other. "Senior apprentice Sister Lanya, we sneaked out." If Ning Cheng came to know about it, would he get angry? The one who spoke was definitely Shi Yulan. Even if she had changed her appearance, Ning Cheng could still see through her at a glance. Lanya's hateful voice came from beside Shi Yulan, "If I don't kill these two bastards, I won't be able to sleep." Chapter 511. Look, that fellow came out. He was the one who plotted against me. He also injured Jing Wuming. Not waiting for Shi Yulan to answer, Lanya whispered again. "But we didn't even buy any weapons, so what are we going to use to fight with others?" Shi Yulan spoke with a bitter face. Lanya also gritted her teeth and spoke up, "Today, we can consider this fellow lucky. Let's take a look at his methods first. I'll kill this trash after I buy the magic treasures. This person has set me up, I must kill him. If not for Ning Cheng, I would have already become someone else's slave." "Me too." Shi Yulan whispered, "Senior apprentice Sister Lan, thank you and Ning Cheng. Today is the happiest day I've had since my mother passed away." Lanya held Shi Yulan's hand and spoke, "Junior apprentice Sister Yulan, I know that you can't continue with Wuming, and I also know that you can't follow Ning Cheng. Therefore, after the end of the Manluan Starry Skies tryouts, come with me to wander the starry skies. You are beautiful, but your fate is even more difficult than mine. It must have been hard on you." At this moment, Lanya completely forgot her purpose for coming here and wholeheartedly comforted Shi Yulan. Ning Cheng also felt a bit speechless in his heart. Shi Yulan had become an orphan at the age of 7 and lived alone. Although his brother and sister didn't have parents since they were young, they could rely on each other and even stay in the orphanage. It wasn't until he was 12 that he took the initiative to leave the orphanage with his sister. Although he and his sister Rulin had tried many times to investigate their parents, they had never found any news. However, Shi Yulan had not only lost her parents at the age of 7, but the place she lived in, not to mention an orphanage. If she was not careful, she could even lose her life. Moreover, Shi Yulan still had to bear a great hatred. Compared to all of this, his sister Ruolan was much luckier than Shi Yulan, at least she still had a big brother. Shi Yulan had said that the day she and Lanya spent together was the happiest day in her life, or rather, it was something that came from her heart, and was not a lie. Perhaps Shi Yulan's somewhat vicious methods were also developed because of this kind of environment. Compared to Shi Yulan, Jing Wuming was much kinder. "Senior apprentice Sister Lan, why did you say that it is impossible for me to follow Ning Cheng? Senior apprentice brother Ning is really a good person. All of us have received his grace." Shi Yulan asked in doubt. Lanya looked at Shi Yulan and spoke, "I don't know much about Ning Cheng, but he has a wife. Besides, even if he didn't have a wife, he wouldn't have anything to do with your past with John Doe." Shi Yulan showed a faint smile, "Senior apprentice brother Ning is a good person. He was the only one who saved me without any other thoughts. I will always regard him as my best friend. As for me and him not having any other relationship, it is not because of Jing Wuming. I do not hate Jing Wuming, but we are destined to be strangers in the future. Let's not talk about me anymore. I don't want to talk about these things anymore. Senior apprentice Sister Lan, you tell me, Ning Qing already has a wife, so why is his wife not by his side? Lanya gave out a sigh and spoke, this is my fault. I was the one who chased him and ended up chasing him into the bright void gorge. I don't even dare to think about it. Every time I think about it, I feel suffocated. Ning Qing was speechless as he looked at the two women. Just a moment ago they were gnashing their teeth in anger and wanted to take revenge. Once they started gossiping, they quickly forgot about their hatred. Not listening to the two women's words, Ning Qing's attention was completely focused on the battle ring. At this moment, two cultivators stood on the battle ring. One of them was a young male cultivator wearing brown robes, with a hint of murderous intent on his face and a celestial shatterer cultivation. Ning Qing immediately knew that this person was Gongxi Kuei. Gongxi Kuei had two indistinct celestial wheels behind him, while celestial essence condensed and surged around his body. From this, one could tell that this person was an expert. From Ning Qing's perspective, if Lanya was fully equipped, she should be able to kill this person. However, now that Lanya did not have any weapons, she definitely would not be a match for this person. The other person wore a gray robe and looked a head taller than Gongxi Kuei. He also had two indistinct celestial wheels behind him and also had a celestial shatterer cultivation. Thank you for coming to the 19th battle ring. On behalf of the other two champions, I welcome everyone. I also hope that someone can defeat the three of us and become the new champion. The battle ring has no eyes. As long as you step onto the battle ring, you are responsible for your own life and death. Gongxi Kuei stood on the battle ring and spoke to the audience with cupped fists. However, his last words were directed at his opponent, apparently mocking his opponent. Ning Qing vaguely understood that as long as one could defeat their opponents in this place for a long time, one could then become the champion. The champion could also share a portion of the tickets. This way of earning money was not only simple, but it could also hone one's cultivation. Moreover, fighting against a variety of challengers, this kind of sharpening was not something that ordinary cultivation could replace. Of course, this kind of sharpening also came with a price. In case a powerhouse showed up, it would only result in death. What Gongxi Kuei meant was that the 19th battle ring had 3 champions. Apart from him, there were 2 other people. Ning Qing guessed that one of them must be Kirk Lupe, from the Scarlet Heaven Star. Since Brother Gongxi is so powerful, then please. The gray-robed cultivator spoke out in a cold voice before bringing out his weapon. His weapon gave off a white glow, which turned out to be a myriad bone pestle. A gloomy aura of white bones spread out, causing Ning Qing to think to himself, if this fellow wanted to refine this myriad bone pestle, just how many people did he have to kill? This Lupe definitely was a murderous demon king, otherwise, he would not have been able to refine such a gloomy weapon. Gongxi Kuei did not care about Lupe's myriad bone pestle and calmly brought out his own weapon. His magical weapon was like a globe, but Ning Qing was not able to recognize what kind of magical weapon it was. Give up this battle ring for me. As Lupe spoke, the myriad bone pestle in his hand transformed into endless bones and shot out. Even if there were a lot of people sitting on the 19th battle ring, all of them could feel a gloomy aura assaulting them. It was as if they had suddenly stepped into hell, with skeletons everywhere. This kind of yin qi was simply terrifying. Gongxi Kuei gave a snort and smashed out the ball. At the same time that Gongxi Kuei brought out the ball, the 2 people on the battle ring could no longer be seen. In front of everyone's eyes was a vast expanse of yellow sand. Moreover, within this vast expanse of yellow sand, there seemed to be countless skeletons screaming out pitifully. At this moment, the battle ring was no longer a battle ring, but yellow sand and white bones. It gave people the feeling of a vast desert. In this vast and boundless desert, the people walking on it had all turned into white bones. These white bones struggled and screamed in the yellow sand. Others might not be able to see the situation on the battle ring, but Ning Qing could see it very clearly. Gongshi Kuei had the upper hand, and his ball constantly created a desert aura of yellow sand. In fact, this yellow sand was truly yellow sand. This yellow sand made Lu Pei feel sluggish and tormented, causing his actions and the myriad bone pestle to slow down. Ning Qing knew that this was Gongshi Kuei's domain. This fellow could become the champion of the 19th battle ring, which showed that he truly had some skill. Ning Qing looked at Lanya in front of him. Lanya did not continue to talk to Shi Yulan and instead stared intently at the battle ring. Apparently, she was also shocked by Gongshi Kuei's actions. Gongshi Kuei was just a celestial shatterer cultivator, yet he possessed such a powerful domain. Violent explosion sounds and screams erupted from the battle ring. Yellow sand filled the sky, however, it did not escape the sphere's range. The yellow sand surrounded Lu Pei within a certain range of the sphere. At this moment, Lu Pei was already busy dealing with it. From the looks of it, this was the first time he had encountered such an opponent. Ning Qing's spiritual consciousness noticed that Gongshi Kuei's yellow sand had formed into a few human figures, while Gongshi Kuei had disappeared into the yellow sand. Ning Qing's starry sky's sea of consciousness was extremely powerful, however, he could still clearly see Gongshi Kuei's real body. However, Gongshi Kuei brought out a short bow and pulled back the short bow. However, the short bow did not have any arrows attached to it. Whoosh! A rapid bowstring sound transmitted into Ning Cheng's sea of consciousness, and Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness immediately caught sight of an arrow-shaped object that looked exactly like the yellow sand. At the moment of death, Lu Pei finally realized that something was wrong. His body twisted like a ribbon hanging from a rotating conch and swayed rapidly. Even so, he still could not avoid Gongshi Kuei's shadowless yellow sand arrow. The arrow shadow entered Lu Pei's body without making even the slightest sound, causing Lu Pei to completely freeze. However, Gongshi Kuei did not stop there. With a wave of his short blade, a blood arrow shot out from Lu Pei's head. At the same time as the blood arrow shot out from Lu Pei's head, the yellow sand covering the sky disappeared, and the gloomy white bones also disappeared. A huge ball suspended over Gongshi Kuei's head, while the myriad bone pestle lost control and fell to the ground with a clatter. Other than Lu Pei's corpse, where else could one find a speck of yellow sand? Lu Pei's life essence had not even spilled out, however, Ning Qing could clearly see that Gongshi Kuei's arrow had already killed Lu Pei's life essence. A burst of noise erupted from the audience. Apparently, the audience felt very satisfied with this tragic killing. Lanya and Shi Yulan remained silent. Both of them had higher cultivation compared to Gongshi Kuei, however, they knew that even if they went up, they would not necessarily be able to walk out of the yellow sand covering the sky. Gongshi Kuei calmly picked up Lu Pei's ring before turning Lu Pei into flying ash with a fireball. He then cupped his fists and spoke, "Thank you everyone for your support. I believe that no one will challenge me today. However, everyone's blue coins will not be in vain. Soon, Kirk will present everyone with an even more exciting fight. Don't worry. Who said that no one would challenge you? Didn't I already come?" A lazy voice reached everyone's ears, followed by a young man with an unkempt beard walking up to the battle ring out of thin air. This young man gave off a trace of the vicissitudes of the starry skies, as if his entire being was a starry sky itself. This was a starry skies wanderer. At this moment, everyone could see it clearly. Gongshi Kuei's spectacular killing of Lu Pei had not yet let the others see enough, when someone else came up to challenge Gongshi Kuei. Thunderous applause once again erupted from the spectator stands of arena number 19. Since they had paid to come here, they naturally wanted to see the most exciting fight. Just now, the battle with the yellow sand covering the sky was already very exciting. As such, who would want to miss out on a second fight? Chapter 5:12. Gongshi Kue also felt surprised. He did not expect that after killing Lupo in such a bloody manner, someone would immediately challenge him. However, when he saw Ning Cheng's appearance, he immediately turned furious. It looks like he had been too gentle recently. Even a celestial novice ain't dared to challenge him. Is this person a celestial novice cultivator? Lanya and Shi Yulan glanced at each other in surprise. More than 90% of cultivators without celestial wheels were celestial novice cultivators. Celestial shatterer cultivators and celestial gatherer cultivators did not have celestial wheels, but they were relatively rare. Moreover, celestial wheels represented a cultivator's strength. Without celestial wheels, even a celestial gatherer cultivator would not be strong enough. A celestial novice cultivator, did he want to die? Since you want to die, then sign up. Gongshi Kue's mouth showed a faint cruel smile. He decided to use this fellow who came to the stage without any regard for his own life and death to establish his prestige. Dog slaughterer. Ning Cheng stretched out his hand, and the treasured thunder spear appeared in his palm. Faint thunder light lingered over Ning Cheng's palm. Ning Cheng being a cultivator with a thunder-attributed spiritual root truly surprised Gongshi Kue. Generally, such cultivators cherished their feathers and rarely came to places like the arena. However, Ning Cheng's dog slaughterer immediately made him angry. He no longer wanted to speak anymore. His murderous intent burst out, and the huge sphere over his head exploded. Boom boom. Yellow sand rolled up into the sky, and the cultivators watching the fight from the 19th battle stage felt as if they had stepped into a raging desert. The rolling yellow sand was like a stormy sea, rolling up wave after wave of yellow sand walls. The yellow sand quickly submerged the battle stage, and the two cultivators fighting could no longer be seen. One could only feel bursts of killing intent constantly seeping out from the yellow sand. Sure enough, it was a powerful domain control. The yellow sand looked very real, and each grain of sand had been refined by Gongshi Kue, transforming it into his domain. Other people's domains were just an invisible form of spatial control, but his domain had already taken form. Although he could not turn an invisible domain into a tangible form, he managed to do it using his own tangible magical weapon. In the eyes of ordinary cultivators, this was a terrifying feat. Only cultivators with great spiritual abilities could achieve a tangible form of domain. However, Gongshi Kue managed to achieve this. In Ning Cheng's opinion, it was simply ridiculous. Ning Cheng possessed the starry sky sea of consciousness, which meant that his spiritual consciousness was not only more powerful compared to ordinary cultivators, but it also had a completely different quality. He believed that a tangible domain was not something that could be achieved through external objects. Tangible domain was the true solidification of space, and it was the embodiment of a powerful divine ability. He had just advanced to the domain realm, and his domain was perfected. He had passed the domain realm lightning tribulation, the nirvana lightning tribulation, and the sea of consciousness lightning tribulation. Gongshi Kue's control over domains was far from comparable. After Gongshi Kue's domain shot out, it immediately encountered a hindrance. This obstruction wasn't the same as when he fought against Lu Pei's white bones, but an invisible obstruction that couldn't be seen or touched, and there was no way to deal with it. Gongshi Kue had not dominated the 19th battle ring for a day or two, so he instantly understood what was going on. This domain was much more powerful than his own. Moreover, this domain was able to bind his yellow sand tangible domain. A layer of cold sweat broke out on his back as he recalled the ancestral teachings of the Gongshi family. The Gongshi clan's yellow sand domain belonged to the category of tangible domains, and there were very few opponents in the same realm. However, once this domain encountered a more powerful invisible domain, the first thing to do was to quickly leave the battlefield and run as far away as possible. Gongshi Kue had been on the path for many years and had killed many opponents in the same realm, even those with celestial gatherer cultivations. However, he had never seen a cultivator who could use an invisible domain to control his tangible domain. However, he met one today. The opponent's invisible domain was something he had never seen before in his life, and it had even completely bound his yellow sand. With such a powerful invisible domain, was the other party really a celestial novice cultivator? Regardless of whether the other party was a celestial novice cultivator or not, Gongshi Kuei decided to follow the ancestral teachings and retreat first. He once again brought out the delicate bow. This time, he did not just shoot a single invisible yellow sand arrow, but pulled the bowstring 3 times in a row before quickly retreating. There was a saying that once the bow was shot, there was no turning back. However, this saying was definitely not correct in a fight within the starry skies. If Gongshi Kuei had not retreated and forcibly confronted Ning Cheng, then after shooting the 3 arrows, Ning Cheng would have had to face several times more pressure compared to the current situation. However, after Gongshi Kuei shot the 3 arrows, he quickly retreated. The momentum of his arrows also weakened as he retreated, which was equivalent to turning back the arrow. He had mistaken Ning Cheng for Lu Pei. If it were Lu Pei, then even if he retreated, the 3 arrows would still pose a threat to Lu Pei's life. However, Ning Cheng, who had the upper hand in this domain confrontation, could see every move of Gongshi Kuei in his eyes. Gongshi Kuei had just retreated when Ning Cheng's treasured thunder spear shot out. At the same time as the treasured thunder spear shot out, an indescribable feeling welled up in Ning Cheng's heart. This was something he had never experienced before when using the Nirvana spear. Although the Nirvana spear could produce that kind of spear intent, he could not comprehend the essence of the spear intent. At this moment, Ning Cheng completely forgot about everything around him. The yellow sand, the shadowless yellow sand arrow, all of them became insignificant. His entire mind was focused on this spear, which cut through all domains and cut through all obstacles. The yellow sand domain formed by the huge sphere automatically separated, and the shadowless yellow sand arrow also disappeared. The entire battle ring, no, in Ning Cheng's consciousness, only this spear existed in the entire world. Anything that stood in the way of this spear would immediately turn to dust. Gongshi Kuei could only watch as this spear shot towards him, however, his body turned sluggish and could not avoid it at all. At this moment, Gongshi Kuei regretted his decision. He should not have retreated. Sometimes, the ancestral teachings were not completely correct. Perhaps the ancestral teachings meant that if one met such an opponent, only death awaited them. It was just that they spoke it in a euphemistic manner. Gongshi Kuei could only see the spear cutting through all obstacles as it shot towards his glabella. Although he felt different from Ning Cheng, what he saw was the same. He could only see a thunder-light spearhead shooting towards him, while he was powerless to avoid it. The scene on the battle ring seemed to have come to a standstill at this moment, while all the spectators stared at the almost still battle ring in shock. At this moment, on the battle ring, the yellow sand was still, Gongshi Kuei was still, Ning Cheng was also still, and even the thunder spear was still. The only thing that moved was not these things, but the distance between the treasured thunder spear and Gongshi Kuei's glabella. That's right, the distance between them was shrinking. Poof! The sound of the spear piercing through the glabella could be heard clearly amidst the faint thunder light and the yellow sand that filled the sky. A blood-red flower of blood blossomed. In the midst of the yellow sand that filled the sky, this blood-red flower looked somewhat poignant. Boom! After this blood-red flower of blood blossomed, the still scene on the battle ring instantly accelerated. Yellow sand filled the entire battle ring, while Gongshi Kuei's body fell to the ground, no longer showing any signs of life. It felt like an illusion, but it also felt like it was not an illusion. Ning Cheng still had his eyes closed. He had felt too many things from this spear. All of this had been vague before, but this time, he could clearly feel it. It seems that using the Nirvana spear without any spirituality before was a mistake. Although the Nirvana spear was extremely hard, it did not have much use for his cultivation and perception. Ning Cheng remained silent on the battle ring, while the audience under the battle ring also remained silent. This battle was much faster than the previous one, and one could even say that it was more poetic and picturesque. However, at this moment, no one had yet to sober up from the shock of the still scene. After a few breaths, Ning Cheng opened his eyes and raised his hand, causing Gongshi Kuei's ring to fall into his palm. Gongshi Kuei's weapon was connected to his life essence. Now that Ning Cheng killed him, the huge sphere also turned into yellow sand. After Ning Cheng turned Gongshi Kuei into dust with a fireball, he waved his hand again, causing the yellow sand to pile up on one side of the battle ring as if it had eyes. The spectating cultivators finally sobered up from the spear intent and the killing intent, as well as the raging waves of yellow sand, causing thunderous applause to erupt. They had not come in vain. Although this battle was short, it was very exciting. Ning Cheng cupped his fists towards the audience under the battle ring and spoke out in a clear voice, "Thank you, friends, for coming to the 19th battle ring to watch the battle. From now on, I, Dog Butcher, will occupy the 19th battle ring. The next opponent I will challenge is Kirk. I believe that this will also be Kirk's last battle. After this battle, there will no longer be a Kirk in the 19th battle ring." The audience cheered even louder. Ning Cheng's words caused everyone to misunderstand that he would occupy the 19th battle ring alone in the future. This was not a trivial matter. In this wrestling ring, there were only 3 people who could occupy an arena by themselves. Could it be that the number 19 was going to be added to the list? When Ning Cheng killed Gongshi Kuei, he had already decided to spend the next month in this place. This kind of growth during the battle made him very happy. He felt sure that this battle would be much more powerful compared to cultivating in seclusion for a few months or even half a year. Comprehending such a powerful domain spear intent, even if an iPhone came back, he would not feel any fear. So powerful. Lanya stared at Ning Cheng and spoke out in a daze. She had never seen such a powerful celestial novice cultivator. Was he really a celestial novice cultivator? Shi Yulan also sobered up from the shock. This was the first time that she had comprehended a kind of intent during a battle, which would definitely benefit her cultivation. It would be great if she could come here often to watch this person's battles in the future. Senior Apprentice Sister Lanya, this person helped you kill Gongshi Kuei. You don't have to worry about killing Gongshi Kuei anymore. This Starry Skies Wanderer is just too powerful. I have never seen such a powerful celestial novice cultivator. Shi Yulan stared at Ning Cheng on the stage and spoke with a trembling voice. She thought that if one day she also possessed such a powerful intent, then killing that Shangmao Celestial River King would not be an impossible thing. Kirk, come up, don't shrink back, Kirk. The audience below the battle ring had already begun to crazily call out for Kirk. Gongshi Kuei killing Lu Pei had made them feel that this trip was not in vain. Moreover, Dog Butcher killing Gongshi Kuei made them feel even more fortunate to come to the 19th battle ring today. Now that Dog Butcher challenged Kirk, how could these spectators miss it? Chapter 513. Kirk looked a bit older than Gongshi Kuei and had long hair tied into a starry sky bun, while his skin was somewhat dark. Because of this, he appeared to be very carefree and unrestrained. The entire process of Ning Cheng shooting Gongshi Kuei, Kirk could clearly see it from the side. Initially, he had the same thoughts as Gongshi Kuei, that Ning Cheng would die without a doubt. However, the result surprised him. Gongshi Kuei was killed, moreover, he was killed in a very short period of time. Although he believed that he was not worse than Gongshi Kuei, he absolutely did not want to fight against Ning Cheng right now. Even if he wanted to fight, he would have to wait until he had investigated everything. However, now that Ning Cheng challenged him, a champion, in front of so many people, if he did not come up to the stage, it would be tantamount to losing his title as champion. At the same time, he would have to tuck his tail between his legs and leave the revolving Jade City. Not to mention the fact that he could not accept such an extremely humiliating thing, even if it was the reward of the 19th arena, he did not want him to leave. If a cultivator lost a stable source of income, what would he use to purchase cultivation resources? To cultivate in the starry skies, financial resources were the most important factor. Without financial resources, one could forget about cultivating. Due to these reasons, Kirk had no choice but to accept the challenge. Friend, I am Kirk. Judging from your appearance, it seems that you have come to challenge me in the 19th arena. If you have any personal grievances, please say it directly. I, Kirk, will accept it. Kirk's tone was incomparably stern, but very few people could understand the guilt in it. Under normal circumstances, when he went up to the stage to challenge, he would absolutely not say any nonsense. Today, he went on stage and talked nonsense for a long time, even talking about personal grudges. The arena would not care about any grudges. No matter what reason one had to challenge, it was not against the rules. Kirk was trying to find something to say. This person is afraid. Lanya whispered to Shi Yulan. She suddenly felt grateful towards this dog slaughterer standing on the stage. You talk a lot of nonsense. Ning Cheng raised his hand and brought out the treasured thunder spear along with a thunder line. Ning Cheng felt that what he lacked the most at this moment was fighting. He vaguely felt that as long as he could go through a series of battles, he would be able to create a complete spear technique, something that was not any weaker than the maximal flame spiritual technique. Since Ning Cheng had already started, Kirk did not dare to speak any nonsense. A pair of translucent white swords appeared, and an icy glow spread out. Although Kirk's pair of ice blades were only low-grade Dao artifacts, they were top-notch goods among low-grade Dao artifacts. This was refined from the void abyss ice. Regardless of whether it was the water attribute or the ice attribute main spirit root. As long as he had this pair of ice blades in his hands, his strength would increase by a level. As soon as Kirk brought out his ice blade, the surrounding temperature immediately dropped rapidly. Not to mention the people in the arena, even the spectator stands were freezing cold. Some of the weaker cultivators hurriedly created a barrier to block the cold aura. Ning Cheng was not surprised in his heart, on the contrary, he felt more and more that entering the arena was the right choice. In this place, one could indeed encounter all kinds of opponents. This was definitely a good place to hone oneself. To be able to stand firm here, which cultivator didn't have a skill? Just like Gongshi Kuei's yellow sand ball and Kirk's cold ice blade light. This coldness was not the end, but merely the beginning. As Kirk completely unsheathed his pair of ice blades, the surrounding air became increasingly chilly. In just a few breaths, this place no longer had an ice-cold aura, but turned into an ocean of ice. Even the surrounding air seemed to have frozen to the point of making crackling sounds. In the middle of this seemingly endless profound ice ocean, Ning Cheng looked completely frozen. However, Kirk's two profound ice blade lights ignored the almost solidified profound ice-cold aura and shot towards Ning Cheng like two shadows. Ning Cheng immediately awoke from the invasion of the terrifying ice blade lights and once again shot out with his treasured thunder spear. Bang bang bang. This time, the treasured thunder spear stabbed out. Instead of a faint thunder light lingering around the spear, it brought out tiny thunder lights one after another. These thunder lights cut through the surrounding ice-cold space, driving the spear shadows to quickly strike the two ice blade lights. Bursts of crackling sounds erupted, and Ning Cheng's long spear felt as if it had struck a frozen river, causing the surrounding ice to start cracking. At the same time, a powerful celestial essence backlash erupted, causing one of the ice blade lights to slide off the treasured thunder spear. However, it did not fly away. Instead, it broke through the ice-cold space and directly struck Ning Cheng's chest. Ning Cheng felt a push on his body, causing the thunder lights on the treasured thunder spear to weaken in an instant. At the same time, the surrounding ice-cold space turned even colder. Bang! Ning Cheng slammed into the restrictions covering the battle ring, while secretly marveling at the richness of Kirk's celestial essence. An icicle of blood appeared on Ning Cheng's chest. A horrifying chill seeped into Ning Cheng's body through this icicle of blood. Not waiting for this terrifying chill to ravage his meridians, the mysterious yellow aura, mixed with a trace of fire origin, quickly melted away the ice. Ning Qing knew that it was not that he did not have enough celestial essence, but that he had lost in terms of momentum. He was different from the other spectators. Others might have only felt the chill, but he could feel the killing power and killing intent contained within this icy chill. Just now, he had been sensing the cold killing intent in the air, and he had even deliberately stopped his attack. That was why he was sent flying. To put it simply, he had underestimated his opponent. Facing a celestial shatterer cultivator, he had actually underestimated his opponent. Previously, he could easily kill Gongshi Kuei, not because his strength crushed Gongshi Kuei, but because his domain crushed Gongshi Kuei's domain. Kirk also flew back under Ning Cheng's attack, however, he calmed down. This fellow who killed Gongshi Kuei did not seem to be as powerful as he had initially thought. After getting hit by his own cold poison blade lights, even if he could control his meridians, his combat prowess would still plummet. Kirk's dual ice blades once again gathered together. This time, it did not just bring out the murderous aura from the blade lights that had turned into an icy mist, but rather a billowing wave of ice. It rushed towards Ning Cheng like an avalanche. In addition to the stifling pressure, it also brought out an ice-cold suppression. The treasured thunder spear in Ning Cheng's hand shook, and in addition to the thunder lights, a purple flame also appeared on the spear's body. A horrifying heat erupted from the treasured thunder spear in Ning Cheng's hand. This violent and horrifying heat felt like a volcanic eruption. It suddenly appeared within the endless waves of ice. Not only did it not weaken, but it also started to slowly grow stronger. The cultivators who were watching the battle were freed from the endless chill, as if they had fallen into a boundless volcano. Or rather, on one side was an endless cold pit, while on the other side was a terrifying volcano. This was not a battle, but a torment of ice and fire. The ice on top of Ning Cheng's head quickly turned into water vapor, while he calmly stared at Kirk in front of him. At this moment, he finally broke down his elusive spear intent and unleashed the first spear. The moment the spear shot out with the celestial river flame, all the ice in the surroundings began to melt, transforming into a spear that could only be sensed by one's thoughts. A powerful domain spread out along with the treasured thunder spear. Kirk not only felt his dual ice blades turn sluggish, but even his body also turned sluggish. Such a powerful domain, just how powerful did one's spiritual consciousness have to be to form such a powerful domain? Kirk finally understood how Gongshi Kuei died. He found it increasingly difficult to move within this domain. At this moment, he understood that he was not an opponent against Ning Cheng. Ka. The icy mist blocking the treasured thunder spear completely melted, and the treasured thunder spear, along with a fiery glow, smashed into Kirk's ice blades. As the ice blades flew up, Kirk's spiritual consciousness tried to bind the ice blades. However, the gap between his spiritual consciousness and Ning Cheng's was too big. Poof! Kirk spat out a mouthful of blood as he once again flew upside down. Not waiting for Kirk to beg for mercy, Ning Cheng's treasured thunder spear shot out once again. This time, the fiery flames covering the treasured thunder spear had disappeared, leaving only flashes of lightning. The cultivators watching the fight from below the battle ring felt shocked by the rapid change in the battle scene. All of them stared at the icy mist and the fiery heat intertwining above the battle ring. This was not just a battle of domains, but also a battle of attribute transformations. It's really powerful. This time, it was not Lanya, but Shi Yulan. She found that even with her celestial gatherer cultivation, once she stepped onto the stage, she would not be able to beat either of these two people. Lanya took in a deep breath and spoke, "I always felt a familiar aura from those flames. I don't know where I had seen them before. Senior apprentice Sister Lan, you should be standing on Dog Slaughterer's side. After all, he helped you get your revenge. Therefore, you naturally feel that you should be on the same side as him. In fact, we don't even know this person. This person has a starry skies aura, indicating that he is definitely a starry skies wanderer. Starry skies wanderers rarely have friends. For them, women are just an object to vent their anger on. Shi Yulan explained from the side. Lanya nodded and spoke, I guess that's the case. Junior apprentice Sister Yulan, since you are so familiar with starry skies wanderers, what would happen to women if they became starry skies wanderers? I think that if women wander the starry skies for a long time, their personalities would also become similar to male cultivators, right? Shi Yulan replied with some uncertainty. Then, would they also use male cultivators as an object to vent their anger on? Senior apprentice Sister Lan, why are you asking this? Did you forget what I told you before? It's because I intend to become a starry skies wanderer. If junior apprentice Sister Yulan has no place to go, you can come with me to wander the starry skies. Lanya smiled. Shi Yulan did not smile. Instead, she replied cautiously, I don't know about others, but even if I become a starry skies wanderer, I will not use male cultivators as an object to vent my anger on. It would be disgusting. I hope to find someone I like in the future, and we can be together forever. Boom. An explosive sound erupted over the battle ring, awakening Lanya and Shi Yulan, who were still in the middle of their conversation. The two of them then saw that the ice mist covering the battle ring had completely dissipated, while Dog Butcher's spear had once again blasted away the huge round shield that Kirk had brought out. However, the spear flashing with lightning did not stop and continued to stab towards Kirk's glabella. Kirk opened his mouth and seemed to want to say something, however, there seemed to be a force binding him, making it impossible for him to speak. Poof! The treasured thunder spear pierced through Kirk's glabella, causing Kirk and Gongshi Kue to fall down. This time, the onlookers in the auditorium reacted quickly and broke out in an uproar. These voices were mixed with a lot of excitement. Ning Cheng remained motionless as he recalled the spear wrapped in the celestial river flame aura. It was that spear that allowed him to break through Kirk's ice-cold aura and kill Kirk in one fell swoop. Chapter 5:14. Without the starry sky sea of consciousness, Ning Cheng felt sure that he would not be Kirk's opponent. The starry sky sea of consciousness was just too powerful. Without the fire origin, he would not be able to melt the ice-cold energy destroying his meridians so quickly. If he could not melt the ice-cold energy destroying his meridians quickly, he would be at an even greater disadvantage. That final spear attack with the Celestial River Fire attribute combined his spear intent and the Celestial River Fire attribute to create a new spear attack. When this spear attack was brought out, it brought out endless flame patterns. These flame patterns were similar to the axe line killing intent that he had comprehended in the past. It blasted all the obstacles around it into nothingness, allowing the spear intent to move forward. The strength of his domain, the strength of his celestial river fire, and the strength of his spear attack. From now on, this spear attack would be called the Nothingness Flame Pattern Spear. Ning Cheng gave out a sigh. Maybe he could try challenging an iPhone. With his current ability, even if he could not compare to a celestial gatherer cultivator, the difference should not be too far. Once he went back and upgraded the twin wings of the heavenly clouds, even if he could not beat them, he could still escape at any time. Ladies and gentlemen, from today onwards, I will be the champion of the 19th battle ring. All cultivators with celestial scryer cultivation can challenge me. As for those above the celestial bridge realm, I will ignore them. The name Dog Butcher is somewhat disrespectful to my opponents. I am a starry sky wanderer, so I will now change my name to Wanderer. Ning Cheng stood on the stage and spoke with cupped fists and a smile. Since Gongshi Kue and Kirk were killed, he naturally had to change his name. The third champion of the 19th battle ring was still worried about whether or not Ning Cheng would continue to challenge him, when he heard Ning Cheng once again speak, "When I am here, I am the champion, but when I am not here, there will be another champion." Although the tone was overbearing, the remaining champion did not find it harsh at all. Instead, after hearing Ning Cheng's words, he felt relieved. As long as Ning Cheng did not challenge him, everything else was secondary. In fact, Ning Cheng's words were meant to comfort the third champion. It meant that he did not need to bother with this deity, and that he would not kill him. For Ning Cheng, even if he became the champion of the 19th battle ring, he could not be here all the time. Once he was gone, the wrestling arena would arrange for someone else to challenge him. They would not abandon the arena just because he was gone. Of course, if one signed a special contract with the arena, even if the arena master was not present, the arena would leave the arena empty. However, not every arena lord had the qualifications to sign a contract with the arena. Only those extremely popular arena lords had the qualifications to sign a contract with the arena. How could he be so popular? Naturally, they were invincible and eternal victors. There would never be an eternal victor in the wrestling ring. As long as one dared to stay in the wrestling ring, there would always be someone who would kick them out. Therefore, most cultivators who trained in the arena would give up the title of arena lord when they felt that it was about time. Apart from a few conceited cultivators, they would always occupy the position of arena master. After Ning Cheng finished speaking, he quickly walked down the battle ring, and soon left the arena. Lanya initially wanted to get to know Ning Cheng, but Ning Cheng did not give her the opportunity. Lanya knew that she and Shi Yulan could not stay outside for long, so she quickly rushed back to the Bright Gist resting pen. As soon as Lanya entered the resting pen, she arrived outside Ning Cheng's room. Seeing that Ning Cheng's room was in seclusion, Lanya had no choice but to leave with Shi Yulan. Ning Cheng immediately went into seclusion as soon as he returned. It was not that he did not want to see Lanya, but that he had a lot of things to take care of. He wanted to upgrade his twin wings of the heavenly clouds and check his gains. From Gongshi Kuei's ring, Ning Cheng obtained 2 billion green coins, along with a large number of materials, healing pills, and many starry sky crystals for cultivation. In addition, there was also a celestial river-class void battleship without much combat power. According to Ruan Mingshu, it was a knockoff. Kirk's ring, in addition to 1 billion green coins, also contained a pile of starry sky crystals, many artifact crafting materials, several weapons, and a celestial-grade battleship. To cultivate within the starry skies, one generally had to find a place with abundant starry sky essence chi to go into seclusion. Or one could use starry sky crystals. Starry sky crystals were somewhat similar to the true cultivation world's spirit stones. The essence chi and spiritual chi contained within them were much more potent compared to spirit stones. However, for low-leveled cultivators, the best thing to cultivate within the starry skies was not starry sky crystals, but medicinal pills formed from starry sky essence chi, or perpetual moon pills. The conditions for the formation of perpetual moon pills were harsh, which made them many times more expensive compared to starry sky crystals. Moreover, the higher one's cultivation, the worse the effects of perpetual moon pills. The starry skies also contained higher-grade natural medicinal pills, however, Ning Cheng had never come into contact with them. Ning Cheng calculated that he had close to 10 billion green coins on him. Although this amount of money could not buy cultivation resources for a long time, it was still a good amount for Ning Cheng. Ruan Mingshu had just walked into the room when she saw a few flashes of multicolored light inside Ning Cheng's room. She frowned. Ning Cheng's room had flashed with lightning a few moments ago, which made her think that Ning Cheng had a thunder spiritual root. Did Ning Cheng obtain another treasure from that multicolored light? Ning Cheng felt helpless. The restrictions around his room were arranged by Ruan Mingshu. Although he could dismantle Ruan Mingshu's restrictions and replace them himself, it would be too obvious. He was staying in Ruan Mingshu's room, yet he still wanted to dismantle her restrictions and replace them. Wouldn't it show that he did not trust the other party? Therefore, he could only place an isolation restriction inside Ruan Mingshu's restrictions. Although this isolation restriction isolated his cultivation aura, it could not isolate some of the multicolored lights. When Ruan Mingshu came back, Ning Qing felt that his twin wings of the heavenly clouds had just evolved, but he immediately put it away. The twin wings of the heavenly clouds now had 3 pairs of multicolored lights, which meant that the speed of his twin wings of the heavenly clouds had once again improved to a whole new level. If he could find the wishful treasure light silk and the sky treasure silk, his twin wings of the heavenly clouds would have 5 pairs of multicolored lights. Ning Qing knew that when the twin wings of the heavenly clouds had 6 pairs of multicolored lights, the twin wings of the heavenly clouds would undergo a qualitative change. Unfortunately, Ning Qing did not know how to turn the multicolored lights of the twin wings of the heavenly clouds into 6 pairs. He only knew the method to upgrade the twin wings of the heavenly clouds to 5 pairs of multicolored lights. The restriction at the entrance turned passive. Ning Qing quickly opened the restriction and spoke up with a smile, so it turns out to be junior apprentice sister Mingshu. Previously, when Lanya and Shi Yulan came to Ning Qing, Lanya and Shi Yulan immediately retreated after seeing the secluded cultivation sign on his door. Wan Mingshu looked more reasonable than Lanya and Shi Yulan, however, she took the initiative to disturb Ning Qing's cultivation. I saw a flash of light inside your room. I guessed that you were refining a magical weapon, so I decided to come in for a bit. I hope I won't disturb senior apprentice brother Ning. Wan Mingshu gave a slight bow and spoke in a gentle voice. Ning Qing waved his hand. No, how could I? I just bought a good magical weapon and had just finished refining it. Does junior apprentice sister Mingshu want to come in and sit down? Wan Mingshu's brows seemed to show some worry. She hesitated for a moment before speaking. Senior apprentice brother Ning, can you accompany me for a walk? Naturally. Ning Qing spoke up without hesitation. No matter what Wan Mingshu wanted, he did not want to refuse. He had borrowed an array disc from Wan Mingshu, which he had left outside the city. Wan Mingshu had a tall stature and looked very cold and elegant. Moreover, her unparalleled elegance and beautiful face clearly showed that she came from a noble background. In contrast, Ning Qing, who walked beside her, did not look very eye-catching. When the two of them walked into a rest stop, they immediately attracted a lot of attention. Alas, a fresh flower stuck in dog shit. A pretty girl at the corner of the rest stop shook her head and spoke with some disdain. Sitting next to her was a woman wearing a veil, which gave her a dignified and virtuous appearance. She gave a slight smile and spoke, Cece, you're wrong this time. Don't look at that male cultivator with only a celestial novice cultivation. His temperament is definitely not worse than that female cultivator. It's just that he deliberately converged his aura, essence, chi and spirit, making him look unremarkable. If I'm not wrong, he is a perfect body-forging cultivator. Really? I heard that this kind of body-forging cultivator has an absolutely perfect body. I wonder what he is like. The girl exclaimed and spoke with a somewhat love-struck tone. Don't be a busybody. The revolving Jade City is filled with crouching tigers and hidden dragons, with experts everywhere. Don't look down on anyone. Another woman spoke up with a straight face. Today at the Celestial Forest Arena, a Starry Skies wanderer with celestial novice cultivation easily killed the 2 champions on the 19th battle ring. Before this, who would have believed it? Elder sister Chinyu, I know. The girl stuck out her tongue. At this moment, 2 more people walked into the rest stop. One of them had a head full of wild hair and had just stepped through the door of the rest stop when he laughed and spoke, Waiter, 2 pots of none to depend on, I want the blue pot. Junior apprentice sister Mingshu, is there a real none to depend on here? Ning Qing quickly whispered on hearing this voice. Wan Mingshu showed a faint smile. There is no real none to depend on in the entire striking order Starry Skies. This blue pot's none to depend on is just a high-level imitation. Ning Qing shook his head. How come this Starry Sky was filled with counterfeit goods? Rats eat barley. The girl who had spoken disdainfully to Ning Qing once again spoke out in an untimely manner. However, her voice was a little louder, allowing Ning Qing to hear it. Chapter 5:15. Courting Death. The wild-haired man sent out a slap. The wild-haired man had an undead realm cultivation. Therefore, this slap contained a powerful celestial essence that turned all the seats between him and the young girl into flying ash. Ning Cheng and Ruan Mingshu, who were standing so far away, could feel the powerful domain binding them. From this, one could imagine that the young girl, who was only in the celestial novice realm, definitely did not have a good ending. Ning Cheng shook his head. This celestial novice girl's mouth was a bit off. When he and Ruan Mingshu came in, this young girl had already said that flowers were stuck in dog shit. Ning Cheng was only in the celestial novice realm, as such, he did not care about others talking about him like that. Not everyone was willing to be talked about in such a manner. This young girl had ended up provoking a ruthless person in just a blink of an eye. Although fighting was not allowed in the revolving Jade City, it also depended on the situation. Once a junior with low cultivation took the initiative to insult a person with a higher cultivation, it would not be a problem even if they were killed. This law applied in any city, not just the revolving Jade City. Just when everyone thought that the girl was going to be killed, the veiled woman suddenly stood up and slapped the girl's face. Boom! Violent true essence blasted together. Once such a powerful celestial essence raged, it would definitely turn the entire rest stop into dust. One could imagine that after this exchange, the rest stop would either cease to exist or turn into a pile of ruins. At this moment, a white-robed young man sitting on the other side raised his hand, and the celestial essence that filled the sky immediately dissipated. It seemed that this young man had grabbed all of it. The rest stop remained safe and sound, with only some of the seats destroyed by the wild-haired man's attack. At this moment, not to mention Ning Cheng, even the rest of the guests in the rest stop turned silent. This powerful strength definitely belonged to a heaven-seated powerhouse. A heaven-seated powerhouse had appeared in a small rest stop. Moreover, this powerhouse looked so young and handsome. Ning Cheng gave out a sigh in his heart. He only had a small celestial novice cultivation and was still struggling in the arena. However, this young and handsome male cultivator had a cultivation in the heaven-seated realm. People really could not be compared with each other. Not to mention this young man from the Revolutionary Army, even that woman with a veil over her face, although he could not see her cultivation, it seemed that she was at least in the undead realm. Otherwise, she would not have been able to block that wild-haired man. This junior acted in front of senior, I ask senior to punish me. The wild-haired man came to his senses. He had acted in front of a heaven-seated cultivator, and the other party could have easily killed him. The wild-haired man waved his hand, it's none of your business. Go and drink. The wild-haired man quickly thanked him, before carefully walking towards the shop assistant, taking out a stack of blue coins and speaking, this is my compensation. After paying the blue coins, the wild-haired man no longer dared to stay in this place. He quickly turned around and left the rest stop. After the wild-haired man left, and the rest stop. It's fine. Your sister is very naive. You don't have to worry about such trivial matters. If you, Sean, said. If said, he, and and said, the said. After saying that, the woman quickly retreated and whispered to the young girl beside her, if you do this again, I'll take you back. The wild-haired man did not care about it and stood up. It looked like he planned to leave. The rest stop's assistant also came over to thank him, but the wild-haired man still smiled and waved his hand. The rest stop's assistant also came over to thank him, but the wild-haired man still smiled and waved his hand. However, when he arrived in front of Ning Cheng, he suddenly smiled at Ning Cheng, brother, you have a good vision. You have to work hard. After that, he showed a charming smile to Ruan Mingshu before slowly walking out of the rest stop. After the wild-haired man left, the atmosphere in the rest stop returned to normal. Junior apprentice Sister Ming Shu, it looks like I'm a bit eye-catching walking together with you. Haha. Ning Cheng showed a self-deprecating smile, however, he felt extremely angry in his heart. He and this wild-haired man did not know each other, yet this wild-haired man left a spiritual consciousness mark on him. It was simply inexplicable. It was an extremely well-hidden spiritual consciousness mark. Ning Cheng felt sure that if he did not have a starry sky sea of consciousness, and if his sea of consciousness had not gone through the nirvana thunder tribulation, even if he reached the celestial bridge realm, he might not be able to identify this mark. Wan Mingshu showed a faint smile. Senior apprentice brother Ning, that's because he doesn't know about it. I'm not in a good mood today, so I just wanted to come out for a drink. What would you like to drink? Spiritual tea or spiritual wine? I drank the black pot of none to depend on. Now that there is a blue pot here, I also want to try it. Ning Cheng's heart surged with strong longing, whether it was Rulan, Luofei, or Qianghua. Perhaps this none to depend on could give him a temporary break. Okay, please bring us 2 blue pots of none to depend on. After Wan Mingshu called out to the waiter, she and Ning Cheng walked to a table by the window and sat down. Ning Cheng felt a little absent-minded. He was thinking about why the wild-haired man wanted to place a spiritual consciousness mark on him. It was impossible for someone to discover the mysterious yellow bead on his body. Once someone discovered the mysterious yellow bead, that wild-haired man would immediately kill him and take away his things. What made him even more anxious was that the spiritual consciousness mark was constantly penetrating his robes. Once it penetrated into his body, he would have to remove it immediately. It was not that he did not want to remove the spiritual consciousness mark right now, but this spiritual consciousness mark was something left behind by a heaven-seated expert. If a celestial novice cultivator knew that someone had placed a spiritual consciousness mark on him, then the consequences would be even worse. Cece, didn't you just say that that person was a piece of dog shit with a flower stuck in it? I really want to pour a pot of wine on him. The veiled woman suddenly sent a sound transmission to the young girl next to her. The young girl looked at the veiled woman in surprise and spoke, "Elder sister Chinyu, I didn't expect that a gentle and demure person like you would have a little devil in your heart. Don't be angry, I'll help you." Before she finished speaking, the young girl had already grabbed a pot of wine and walked towards Ning Cheng. However, she had just arrived at Ning Cheng's side when she staggered and poured the entire pot of wine onto Ning Cheng. "Oh, I'm really sorry, I didn't mean it." The young girl looked at Ning Cheng in surprise and spoke, without even a shred of apology in her eyes. The veiled woman also quickly came over and pulled the young girl and spoke, "Cece, what are you doing?" After that, she looked at Ning Cheng apologetically and spoke, "This friend, I'm really sorry. Cece is not sensible and ended up getting your clothes wet. You can change your clothes, I'll help you clean up your clothes." Even Wan Mingshu, who had always been very gentle, had an ugly expression on her face. This young girl obviously did it on purpose. No cultivator would casually let go of such a thing, otherwise they would be too weak. Ning Cheng snorted, took off his outer robes and threw it to the side, before speaking with a cold face, "I can't even afford a single piece of clothing, no need." Saying that, he quickly took out a coat and put it on, feeling happy in his heart. This matter was just too much of a coincidence. He was just thinking about how to throw away his coat when a pot of wine suddenly appeared. Wan Mingshu also stood up and spoke to the veiled woman in a cold voice, "Although you are a senior, you deliberately indulged the people around you to make fun of others. Do you think that you can act without scruples in the revolving Jade City just because of your cultivation?" The young girl who poured the wine on Ning Cheng gave a snort, "You don't know a good person." The veiled woman stopped the young girl again and spoke to Ning Cheng and Wan Mingshu apologetically, "I'm not a senior. I'm just a celestial gatherer cultivator. I just used a talisman to block that person." Ning Cheng immediately understood. No wonder he could not see that this veiled woman had an undead cultivation. It turned out that she had used a talisman just now. Forget it. Little sister, you should be careful with your words and actions in the future. Not everyone is as easy to talk to as me. Ning Qing also stopped Ruan Mingshu, who was about to continue speaking. This person had helped him, whether it was intentional or unintentional, it was a good thing. He had already expressed his anger and magnanimity, so it was enough for him. Many thanks for this friend's magnanimity. We will take our leave now. Cece, let's go. I will not bring you out again next time. The veiled woman once again apologetically bowed to Ning Cheng before pulling the young girl out of the rest stop. Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness had always been focused on the two of them. It was not until the two of them reached the door that he heard the young girl named Cece mumble, "Elder sister Qinyu, didn't you say that you wanted to pour wine on that man to vent your anger? Why did you apologize to him?" Hearing these words, Ning Cheng immediately understood that this person really wanted to help him. He also did not know how the veiled woman knew that he had a restriction placed on him. Moreover, why did she want to help him? The two of them did not know each other at all. Let's go back. With all these things happening, I'm not in the mood to drink anymore. Ning Cheng did not want to stay in this place the moment she placed a spiritual consciousness tag on him. Now that he had lost his clothes, he wanted to leave as soon as possible. Okay. Ruan Mingshu spoke out softly, but did not forget to buy the 2 pots of wine sent by the waiter. She then whispered to Ning Cheng, "Let's go to my room to drink. Even if it's fake wine, I still want to taste it." Ruan Mingshu's tone was gentle with a hint of indescribable charm. Even if Ning Cheng did not want to think about it, he could not do anything about it. "Hey, what's going on? Jing Shan, can you help me go to that rest stop and see why that male cultivator left his clothes in the rest stop?" On the busiest street of the revolving Jade City, a white-robed young man suddenly stopped with a frown and spoke to the person next to him. "Yes." The middle-aged man next to him responded and quickly left. A moment later, the middle-aged man came back to the white-robed young man and spoke, replying to Master, "The girl who caused the accident in the rest stop deliberately poured a pot of wine on that male cultivator, causing the male cultivator to throw away his clothes." The two sides almost clashed because of this matter. The white-robed young man nodded and spoke, "Then forget it. Just consider him lucky." He did not doubt this matter. That girl was a troublemaker. Previously, he had said that a flower was stuck in dog shit, so it was normal for her to make a move. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.